Every day I get up, I tell myself, congratulations. I tell myself, good job. I literally pat myself on the back. It's not because it's hard in most cases. It's because sometimes you need a reminder. Sometimes you need something to remind you that there is better, that there is hope, that there is a reason for moving. For me, it's my family. I don't know what your reason is, but if you can't find one, let me be the reason that you need. Whether you know it or not, you matter. Everything about you matters. This planet with you is so much better. And without you, it seems a little bit smaller. You haven't been told I love you today? I love you. I would love to give you a hug, but I'm not physically in front of you. I just need you to fight. I just need you to give it your all. I need you to give yourself credit when you do it. Never give up. Never let go. Reach out and get help. It's only 3 numbers, 988. It can be so hard, but yet so easy with just 3 numbers, 988. Even if you just need someone to talk to, reach out and make the call. Because before you make a decision that we have to live with, make one that you can live with and get help. Because whether you know it or not, tomorrow needs you. Let's talk football.
Welcome back, welcome back, welcome back. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Welcome back, Pride Nation. I'm back at it again with another video. It's going to be a little bit different. I'm actually outside today. You can't tell that because I can't be on camera, but I can tell you this much. It feels so good that I need to get outside and have a little bit of fun with it. So if you hear birds chirping, that's exactly what it is. If you hear an ice cream truck, I am outside for the 15th time. All right. People, we got a lot to cover. My thumbnail is going to be about the most important thing that we should be talking about. It's the only thing we should be talking about when it comes to training camp. It's the only thing we should be talking about when it comes to preseason. And if you disagree with that, I'll put it this way. 10% talking about the offense and all that other BS, 90% this. Because I have come to a conclusion that everything falls on the shoulders of this man right here. Well, Luke, how can you say that? What about this is not my opinion. This is what many people have deemed. The pitchforks have already been prepped and ready. The first sign of trouble, the man on the thumbnail will be the first person that they go after. And I got to be honest with you, it needs to be discussed. It just does. And the reality of it is this. I'm going to make a lot of statements today that many of you are not going to like. You're not going to find entertaining. You're not going to find delightful. But the reality sometimes can be stranger than fiction. And at the end of the day, I just want to make sure you understand where to put your focus at. Before we get further into that detail, let's see who's in the building with me. We got my man, friendly neighborhood Lions fan in the building. Tim Hutch is in the building. We got my man Dan Spanos in the building. Perry Ball is in the building. What up, Doe? 1991 Max Stagg is in the building. The Singles Dad Club is in the building. Giovanni Lyons is in the building. My man Anthony from Roar to Lions UK is in the building. They would cut their damn grass now. I ain't mad. That was a good day. It's the best time to do it. It just is what it is. All right. My man Raw Podcast, aka TA, is in the building. Ed W is in the building. Make sure I ain't forgetting nobody. One Funky Lions fan. Dat fan man's in the building. My man Noel. Y'all, if y'all don't know, man, my man Noel out here, he just enlisted in the armed services. So shout out to my military people, my veterans, my freshmen, my sophomores, or whatever other names you can give them. To the people who serve this country, shout out to him. My man Noel is one of them. Salute to you, sir, and thank you. Thank you. Thank you. D-Map Zoon is in the building. We got my man's, who else we got out here? Mitchell, we got my man Super Saiyan Lion in the building. I'm going to get right into it off rip. So I'm sitting up here. I'm listening, I listen to the same interview that everybody else listened to with Brad Holmes. And there was a lot of little gems in there. A lot of things that he said in there, I think, was a bunch of BS. I'm calling cap on it. I'm just gonna be honest with it. You feel me? I think it's hot garbage. I'm just trying to be honest, people. I think it's hot garbage. But he did bring up some conversations that I thought was interesting because he acknowledged that the defensive line was hot garbage. In so many words, he acknowledged that the defense, in short, was not up to par. In so many words, so that's another thing, right? Like, all these things add up. They make a difference in what's going on. Shout out to my man Chrome in the building and Black Spirit, right? These things make a difference. So, Luke gonna get into it because Luke is about to piss off a few people. Now, I'm gonna let you know right now, Luke did not come into this thing, okay? He didn't come into this thing with Patty Luke out. But with the right comments, don't make me bring them out. I'm being strategically objective about this, all right? Which means that I want to make sure that I can stick to just the facts, right? I'm leaving the emotions at home, all right? But please don't pull me out my square. I'm doing the best that I damn can, all right? Black Spirit says, we'll be outside, but it's 112, man. 112. Sweet. Baby. Okay, listen. No way. Listen. It's no, please don't go outside. In fact, go get in the pool. Turn me off. Come back and watch me later. Go get in the pool. No. Absolutely not. 112? Like, I don't even know what the hell that feels like. That's terrible. What do you do when it's 112 outside? Like, you can't get. I'm gonna leave it alone. Shout out to Marcus Willis in the building. All right, let me see who was out here. All right. Woo! I'm trying to keep it together. All right. my man Max Stack says, too late. No, I'm gonna keep it together. I'm keeping it together. All right. Here we go, people. Here we go. I'm keeping it together. Hey, listen. Beyonce said, you won't break my soul. I'm in it. All right. Let's go by the numbers. I listened to that whole interview. Then I read all these Tim 20-minute articles, and I went, oh, some interesting numbers in here. Now, this right here is purportedly the current guys we have on the D-line, right? Aiden Hutchinson, Aleem McNeil, Isaiah Buggs, Charles Harris, John Kaminsky, Romeo Core, Josh Pascal, Levi Ansarique, Christian Covington, Broderick Martin, Benito Jones, Corey Durden, Zach Morton, Chris Smith. All right, people. This is the most pedestrian D-line I've ever seen. Now, I'm saying all this to say this. This rests all on Aaron Glenn's shoulder. For the people who are having a hard time understanding that I'm putting a little sarcasm in there, please keep up, okay? This is the most pedestrian D-line I've ever seen. If you want to tell me the biggest threat on this D-line is Aiden Hutchinson, all right. Okay. You want to tell me Kaminsky's, he's good. He's good, man. He's really, really good. You just don't know it. He's good. All right. You want to tell me Aleem McNeil? Yeah, okay, whatever. I'm taking whatever you give me. But I want you to look at this D-line, and I want you to tell me if you were ranking this D-line out of all of the 32 D-lines in the NFL, and I know that you don't know all of it. In most cases, mean you don't. But if you were ranking this D-line, just these particular ones, just these defensive lineman people right here, this group, and you were comparing it with all of the other 32 teams, where does this rank out of 32? Where? I'm going to give this a minute so this can track. I'll give it a minute. I want to know what the people think. If you're ranking this, where are you putting this damn D-line? I need you to understand the logic behind this because I got to tell the truth. All right? This is starting to get there already. I can already see myself, getting ready to go down this road. I'm trying my best not to. All right? I'm trying my best not to. Where does this rank? Tell me where it rank. Tell me where it ranked. Arizona Heat. Shit. Arizona Heat. That's what you call that? I may or may not know something about that type of heat, but I don't, I don't particularly, claim it. That's all I'm going to say. BD Buster, what up, though? Let's see. Oh, my man Miko in the building. What's going on, brother? How you doing? Let me see. I just want to know. I just want to know. Luke, this is a year we need to see improvement on defense. We need to stop run, get a consensus base, If that don't happen, we need to put the blame on coaches or front office. Yeah, I know where to start at. I know exactly where to start at. As my man BD Butter say, like the video, guys. I appreciate it. I really do. He says the incredibly petty hawk. You won't like him when he's on one. I need to I need to use that one. The incredible petty hawk. Listen, hey, I'm trying to keep him under wraps. Now, my man Super Saiyan Lion says I've seen worse. Fearless says bottom 10, bottom tier, probably like 25. Okay, I listen. I'm 18. I got 20, bottom 15. Oh, damn. All right, listen, we got 28, 29. I just want to see it. Yeah, 20th is about right. I think that's wishful thinking, but what the hell can I say? All right. Now, why do I bring that up? Right? Because there's some numbers that I knew, and there's some numbers that I did not know. And when you go down here, Mr. Tim Tweeneman, decided to break down the numbers. And he goes by, simply put, Hutchinson Law, 9.5 sacks, 3 interceptions, and 2 fumbles recovered. Oh, great. He talks 10 fumbles recovered by the Lions defense last season were tied for the 10th most in NFL. Oh, you go, oh, that's interesting. Okay. Percentage of opponents' offensive drives last season that resulted in a 3-and-out. That tied with the Chicago Bears for the second lowest. Now, I bring this up because it all rests on the shoulders of one Aaron Glenn. Is every person's already had their pitchforks together. They've already got them painted. You can't talk about the general manager, God forbid that. Dan Campbell's a meathead, but he's next up on the total poll. But first up is Aaron Glenn. And again, I don't know how this is Aaron Glenn's fault when you are second to last behind the Bears. Only the Minnesota. Okay. Detroit pressure rate in 2022, which was better than the NFL average of 28%. Sacks recorded by Detroit defense last year, tied for 18th. Playoff teams average 45. Rushing yards per game on average allowed by Detroit Lions defense in 2022, which ranked 29th in the NFL. 29th. Good grief. I'm thankful the Jets didn't have their running back. I'm thankful that his ass was hurt. I'm thankful for many of the things that occurred down the stretch, but this right here is just getting terribly bad. Now here's the thing. Quotable for me it's consistency, being able to do it every snap in the game. McNeil said this offseason, right? Yeah, it is consistency, right? But again, for the most part, if I were to take y'all averages that y'all provided, they're still at the bottom in terms of a D line. So then I go to the linebackers. It's the same linebackers that I heard we was deep at. Now I don't claim to be the NRBR answer to that. But this idea that we're deep at linebacker has got to be the most bullshit I've ever heard in my entire life. Like this is hot garbage. You're not going to convince me that we're deep. Deep means that you're telling me, you know what? Deep is the equivalent of telling me that the Bears have the best rushing attack because of Jalen Fields alone. It just doesn't make sense. And to tell me that we're deep, to treat it like, oh, we have so much talent behind that, we only play 2 linebackers, and I don't want to hear it. When those 2 linebackers go down, do you really expect it to be a consistent high performance from the guys behind them? And if you do expect that, then shame on you. But let's get into it. Why am I bringing this all up? Because I'm going to drive home a bigger point, and I wanted to point out the bigger issue here. The Lions linebackers are Alex Anzalone, Derek Barnes, Jack Campbell, Malcolm Rodriguez, James Houston, Jalen Reed-Maybin, Julian Ocore, Anthony Pittman, and Trevor Nowaski. I hope I said that right. Even if you go through and you look at this, it's terrible. This is terrible. I'm not being funny. This is absolutely still a terrible group. But don't take my word for it. I'll let you guys put the numbers in your hand and you tell me, of this group that you're looking at right now, where does this rank out of 32 teams in the NFL? We're talking linebackers now. Just linebackers. Where does this linebacking group rank out of the 32 teams in the NFL? Please tell me. Please open my eyes to what the hell this is. All right. Now, I'm doing all of this for a reason. It's because I have been following a lot of YouTube. I have been following a lot of media. I have been following. I even have Sirius Radio to listen to the NFL radio channel and heard some of the things that they said, and I have growingly asked myself, "Are we really doing this? Is this really a thing? Is this something seriously that we're going to be talking about? Like, on my mother, is we really doing this? Like, seriously? Like, I have a hard time with it. Okay." So off rip, I just bring this all up for one reason and one reason only. Okay. One reason only. I need you to see the picture. Where does this linebacking core rank? I got 31st, bottom 25. You, Black Spirit, you is so generous. I mean, like, you're so generous, but I ain't mad at you. It's your rankings. I want your rankings on where they rank at. Where are they ranked in terms of the other group of people? Where are they? All right. I need to know. All right. I got 31st, bottom 25. Football is situational. Can the Lions get the stops when they need to, regardless of stats? And see, this is the thing. I'm taking the stats completely out of it. I have removed the stats from the equation. It's the certain numbers that they bring up that has gotten my attention. That's what it is for me. It's those numbers. It's those little bitty numbers that's got it for me, right? So I got 26. Okay, I want to know. Tell me, where does this rank in the 32? I want y'all to be able to see this bigger picture. I really do. I'm driving it home. I'm almost there, okay? Because right now, on average, you're not looking good. You're still in the bottom of the league in terms of like 27 or something, okay? So if you're already in the bottom of the league, right, you're already not on par with, you're on par with the rankings or something. This is where I start to just dig into this. It says, I would love to suggest a rank, but I haven't seen how this team plays this year. Even if we even nab a few extra players, Chris, that's cheating. You're cheating, Chris. Looking at this, you can tell your initial early prediction. You can look at it and say, you know what? If I bet you if I ask you who's better, Ray Lewis or Alex Anzalone, you can answer that, right? And they haven't played this year. I guarantee it. So you can give me a ranking. Come on now. Don't cheat me, Chris. Don't cheat me. I need you to give me a ranking. I want to know where they are. Because right now, if I took the average of what you guys are all putting out there, they're at about a 25 to 28, right? Miko 23rd. All right, cool. Lions Rumble says, like the streams fan. What up, doe? All right. So why am I saying all this? I just want you to go and look at this damn thing. I just want you to look at it because everything is resting on the shoulders of Aaron Glenn. I have heard so many people talk about Aaron Glenn that I have grown disgusted by the idea of this. So let's look at the numbers. There's some good things going on here. Like Houston started his career with at least 1 sack in each of his first 4 games, becoming the 3rd player in NFL history to do so. His 8 sacks are his 8 sacks on the year, tied for 3rd most as a Lions rookie has produced in a single season, and Dominican Sue with 10, Aiden Hutchinson with 9.5. But what can I say? All right, Rodriguez. This is I got something for this too. Rodriguez ranked 6th in total tackles among NFL rookies last season. It's funny how they word that amongst NFL rookies last season. He became Detroit's first rookie selected in the 6th round or later to start week 1 of the same year since 1987. I mean, it was that damn bad. It was that bad. We had to start. I'm gonna leave it alone. All right. It says pass defend by Anzalone since joining the Lions in 2021, which is tied for the 5th most amongst linebackers. Look how they word this, right? And then we get down to this. Percentage of the Lions defensive formations grouping last year that was 4 defensive linemen to 2 linebackers and 5 defensive backs. That was Detroit's most popular grouping, followed by 3 defensive linemen, 3 linebackers, and 5 defensive backs. Okay. Rushing plays of 10 plus yards allowed by Detroit in 2022, which tied for 24th in the league. I mean, talk about second line of defense. Now, mind you, 62 was the number. I meant to put that out there too. 62 was the number. 377 first downs allowed by the Detroit defense last season, the most in the NFL. the most in the NFL. Last year's playoff teams averaged 329 first downs allowed. We gave up 377. It's all on the shoulders of Aaron Glenn. That's what this is. It's all on his shoulders, right? This is what we're talking about. Well, why does this matter? Because I'm going to get to the next grouping. Now, here's where everybody's pride and joy is at. This is where everybody's spirit is high about the secondary. And with people like Tracy Walker, Kirby Joseph, CJ Gardner-Johnson, Brian Branch, Iffy, Malawana, Falawana, Bada, Bang, Bang, Boom, Boom. You know damn well I can't say his name. When you got people like him, Brady Breeze and Brian Joseph, this is where everyone is so happy. This is the safety class right here. I left the cornerbacks out for a reason, people. It's a reason I did this. I'm not trying to embarrass too many things. I'm just merely making the point that some things just need to be reviewed differently. And so let's talk about the numbers. Joseph, third. It says third. Joseph is only the third rookie in NFL history since at least 1999 to total 4 interceptions and 2 forced fumbles and a fumble recovery. Beautiful news. 4, Detroit was tied with Kansas City, Philadelphia, and Buffalo with 4 red zone takeaways. Beautiful. 6 interceptions for Gardner-Johnson last season in 12 games, which tied for the league's most. I mean, all this is beautiful, right? 25% of third and 10 plus. I'm sorry. Let me make sure I get it right. 25% of third and 10 plus conversions the Lions defense allowed last season, which ranks 29th. Nobody sees the pattern here, right? One of the things that I had an issue with last year was how we gave up big plays. It's one of the reasons why I wanted a defensive back, which is one of the reasons why I thought we were taking Kyle Hamilton or we was taking Gardner. But what the hell do I know, right? You know, every other network told you this, the way you do it is just do this way, whatever. More than one way to skin a cat, but we'll take it. What does this all mean? And why am I bringing this all up? I want you guys to rank that damn safety room. Rank it. Amongst 32 teams, rank it. Tell me what you're ranking at. That's what I want to know. Tell me what it ranks. What's going on, Detroit D? I'm going to wait for y'all. Punch God says all going to depend on what Jack looks like. We're going to get into that too. We're going to get into that too. What's going on, Big T? I will put the 27, but I'm praying for 20. Luke. I know you was praying for 20. you ain't got to tell me. I know what you was praying for. I said that's just a prayer. I know it. I know what you was praying for. In my honest opinion, this roster on defense has the potential to be very disruptive. It could be. It does have the potential, you know, but we got 14, 16, 15, 10. I love it. I love it. I love it. And Miko talked about this yesterday, potential. And I'm not going to lie, it's not Miko's fault. He didn't realize he was enraging me every time he said the word potential, but he was. Because F potential. Whoa, Luke, how can you say that? F potential. Yeah, I'm over that. At some point, you need to be able to hit on these picks. And some of these picks he has hit on. And it wasn't about potential. It was that, hey, the guy did what we expected him to do and perform. All right? So why am I bringing this all up? The pitchforks are already out for Aaron Glenn. The spirit people are already out for Aaron Glenn. The media is already out for Aaron Glenn. The fans are already out for Aaron Glenn. The cheerleaders are already out for Aaron Glenn. And you're looking at a team whose defense is the worst part of it. And the reality is this. We're going to win and lose based on this defense. And this does not fall on Aaron Glenn. The players who are here must perform. The players who are here need to be so much more better. And the questions are, did we add the right pieces to fix the major problems of this team, to get us off the field on third down? Did we fix the problems to stop the run, stop the mobile quarterback? These simple things that I'm asking are the things that I want to focus on. These are the things that I want to put out there. Because it's one thing to say a defense is bad. It's another thing when you're giving up a bunch of points, you're giving up a bunch of third downs or third and long. You know, you're giving up the most first down. All this is yielding itself to a team that you can make all the excuses in the world about. But the reality is this. I don't have time for potential for Jack Campbell. Your ass need to come in and perform. I don't want to hear about potential. And yeah, all we can do is say it's potential and look at it as potential. All you can do is look at its potential. The Lions have an opportunity to do something that they have not done in a long time. We talk about since 1991, and that's win the damn division. That's get to an NFC championship game. They have the opportunity to do that, and it's going to start with the front seven. The same front seven that gave up the biggest numbers. And rather Mr. Tweetyman realized it or not, he showed that the secondary, obviously the improved secondary, has shown signs with some of the new additions. But meanwhile, the front seven is still questionable. And before somebody started to tell me about how to, Brock Martin and all this, spare me that. But it does bring me to another question, because I'm starting to wonder, is Brock Martin about to become the new Malcolm Rodriguez? Now, don't go to sleep on me now, y'all. Don't let me be the reason you go to sleep on me now. Is Brock Martin about to be the new Malcolm Rodriguez, the new fan darling? Is that what it's about to be? Because somehow Brock Martin is getting more hype than Jack Campbell. The hell is going on? All of a sudden, Brock Martin is this. I'm telling you, this guy can block kicks. This guy can run up the stadium steps. He even makes his sandwich with low-fat calorie bread. I don't give a crap. But I'm wondering, have we done it again? Have we found some kind of way to lift up a meh player into a position that we don't need to? I'm asking a serious question. Because I'm starting to see a lot of Brock Martin hype. And I only got to watch 3 games of him. And in 3 games, I saw a meh player. Oh, that was college. I feel you. He's a freak of nature. I'm trying to figure out, has he become that guy? Because somehow Martin his name is coming up too damn much. The media is forcing the name. Some of my fellow YouTubers is forcing the name. Brock Martin hasn't taken a single snap. Fair enough. Fair enough. A lot of the rookies haven't. But I'd be damned if the hype ain't being pushed for people like Jack Campbell. Even a little bit of hype. Jack Campbell's running with tight ends, rookie tight ends, who still have room to add to their route tree. Punch, who's media? My fellow YouTubers, fans. The same hype that I seen for Malcolm Rodriguez, I'm seeing it for this. And if this is going to happen, then that means I better see people putting some really lofty expectations on damn Brock Martin. Brock Martin, Broderick, I don't give a shit. You know who the hell Martin is. You know who I'm talking about. He's the one everybody's talking about. Broderick, Brock is short for it. It's all the same. He's the new darling. The reality is I keep hearing about it. This is the reality, right? If we're going to go out our way to bring this man so much hype, I want that same energy for the whole defense. I want to hear that same kind of energy for Jack Campbell. The same kind of energy for Alex Anzalone. I want to hear that same kind of energy for Derek Barnes. I want to hear it for Enrod. Enrod became an afterthought down the stretch. After all the hype and fan love that he received, he now becomes an afterthought. And I'm only saying all that to say this. At some point, we got to just look at the numbers and say, is this the guy that's supposed to help stop this? And do you believe that he's going to want to stop it? Because if you do, then kudos to you. Kudos to you. Kudos to you. If you really believe that he's the answer, cool. I don't hear nobody project him as a starter. It's all potential. I just don't see it. Just don't see it. I'm asking the question for a reason. Which brings me to another point. Sorry about that, people. Damn fly came by. I got the swatting at it and caught the mic. Can't stand bugs. All right. So the same thing I got to ask a question about that I look at. All this hype going around this. We're not hyping up people like James Houston. I don't hear that hype train. We're not hyping up, man. We finally got enough to stop the run. We're not hyping that up. Don't hear that hype train. Maybe I missed that train. But it makes me wonder, when the fans become so enamored with mad players, why should our general manager go out and get exceptional players? Why should he go out and get players who are all pro when the fans are already good enough? I was curious about this. I was really curious about this because it got me to thinking also, would the Lions make the same mistake they made with DeAndre Levy and Cliff Averill? Will they make that same mistake? Because it's going to rest all on the shoulders of Aaron Glenn. My question is, are they going to make the same mistake with James Houston that they made with with Levy and Cliff Averill? And to the people who don't know what I'm talking about, is realizing too damn late how good they are before they gave him a full-time role. Cliff Averill was getting to the quarterback well before he even really got a chance to fully go, and he was doing good at it. And as soon as he got a chance to lead Detroit, he ran up out this damn place. Levy was used late and sparingly in favor of other people. Is our coach staff going to make the same mistake? Are they going to fall in love with some of the other things that's going on? And we're going to end up getting the best out of him at the later time? Because I heard people all last season talking about he's a situational pass rush. Really? Really? Situational pass rusher. That's what we got here. Perfect. You're fine with that. He's situational pass rusher. Meanwhile, Broderick Martin is the second coming of Tony Siragusa. Clap it up. He's going to be the next big thing. He's Leon Lett without the stupid shit. Got it. And I'm not saying that he can't be that. I'm saying that look at all the issues from last year's defense and tell me how we fixed them. Training camp is about to start, and we're talking about people who is going to either be practice squad guys or not even on the damn starting roster. We're talking about how the secondary is going to stop the run. The secondary. That means people are coming up to make plays in the secondary. We act like Charles Tillman out there. I already had to fend off the Mosley people, like, killing me with this. My man Shay says, I hear more hype about Houston, Campbell than Martin. Do you? Shoot it my way. I got a bunch of community posts. Shoot me a link. Shoot me the videos. I want the link. Send it to me. Send it to me. I'm showing you numbers, not by me, but by the Lions beat writer himself, that shows that this defense gives up the most big plays. Now, can the secondary solve that? Sure. But I don't know if the secondary solves big runs, giving up all these first downs. I don't know if they solve that. And it's not just that. It's some of the things that Brad Holmes said in the video that annoyed me. Like, people really believe it. Like, oh, we only have 14 players with first-round grades. You had 2 first-round picks. Now, everybody heard that and went, well, 2, so who were the other 12? No, that. Damn that. You did a lot of willing and dealing, right? To your success, right? Good. But you not telling me that you only have 14 people. You telling me all 14 of those people you have first round grades on was going to be gone before you like, come on. All 14 was gone by the time you picked that 18. He claimed we got 2 of them. Now, mind you, he claimed he got 2 of them. So you telling me you didn't see Sam Laporta as a real first-round talent? See, there's some cap in there. And he says all that after saying how he knew that there were some serious issues on the defense, particularly in the interior side of the defense. I just want people to understand it's all on Aaron Glenn's shoulders. Shout out to Anthony. He says, why do we try to assassinate our draft picks? Martin got a lot of criticism because we gave up picks for him and no one has watched him play. Re-citified a lot of those casual takes. Here's my thing. I'm not here to assassinate him. I'm here to try to get the mob who's already preparing themselves with the convenient excuse that this is all Aaron Glenn's fault. He's the problem. He's the issue. He's the one that's got to go. This is on him. And the reason I'm bringing this up is because if you can't tell me that you see a defense that should be in the top 10 to 15, then why are we having this? Why? And I'm going to put the link in the chat too, because I want people to come in and talk to me. I want people to share I want them to be the ones to speak their truth, right? I'm bringing this up because I'm seeing every article talk about how great the offense is. I'm seeing every article talk about what they expect from the offense and who's this on the offense. And then they casually skip over the defense. I see every article mindfully, strategically dodge the biggest problem with this team. That's my issue. So when training camp gets started and it starts going full-fledged, hot, balls to the wall, I want people to put their attention on the defense. I don't give a shit about anything that come out of training camp pertaining to the offense. I don't care if Jahmyr Gibbs juked the shit out of Jack Campbell. I don't care. Don't. I want to know what we're doing on defense. It's so bad to the point where we have questions like, has the defense surpassed the offense? Really? And I don't even care if it's a hypothetical. It's just a bunch of bullshit. Because some people really bought into it as not a hypothetical or a facetious statement. They bought into it like, yo, our defense is catching up. Where? I'm not assassinating the draft picks. I'm not doing that. I'm simply questioning whose shoulders is this on? Because the first sign of trouble that comes along, they're going to blame Aaron Glenn. And the first sign of success is going to be everything else but Aaron Glenn. I just want to make sure we got our attention straight. My man Anthony comes in to check off on me. My brother with the better hairline than I got. He's doing so much better than me.
I could only wish, Luke. You look a lot better than me. I'm striving to be like you.
Stop this noise. How you doing, brother?
Hey, I'm doing well. I just thought it's been a while since I've spoken to you. So, I wanted to come in and say hi. Hope you're doing well.
Listen, that was a real beautiful calm before the storm, but I know it's coming.
It's coming. You know what they say, look, when you're in a situation where you're having sort of thoughts and you need to have a cold shower just to, calm down and chill out. I'm your cold shower here, Luke. I'm coming to douse.
Okay, here you go.
I'm coming to douse the pattiness.
Explain it to me. All right, listen. I'm finna pose a question to you. I'm going to ask you 3 questions, and then I'm going to ask you to explain it to me. Where would you rank the Lions defensive line out of the 32 teams in the NFL?
What? Where are they now, or where do I think they could be this year? What am I?
Where are they now?
This season?
We're just looking at them right now.
Ooh.
We're not talking potential. Potentially, I can grow 6 more feet. It probably won't happen, but shit, it's potentially right. So we talking about right now. You're looking at them right now as it stands. Where do they rank?
Right now, I think you're looking sort of 20-ish, late teens, 20-ish. I mean, something like that. We got a good good group of edge rushers with depth down there, 7 guy deep. It's obviously the interior where we just need we need to see development there, but we got the players. But I think in those low teen categories we're at roughly.
The linebackers, where do you rank them out of 32 teams?
See, this is very different. Right now, again, I probably have them at about 20. I'd have them in that sort of area, but I think they've got the potential to be so much higher.
All right, in the secondary, where do you rank them?
On paper, I rank them probably about 10, 11. I think there's a lot of talent there, a lot. And again, once that develops, it'll go higher. Okay.
Now, go ahead and tell me why I've lost my mind. Because I see, everybody came in to check my ass today. I see him in the back. Hold tight for me, Rumble. I see you too, Miko. Hold tight. All right. Go ahead. Tell me why I've lost my mind.
I was just enjoying. I was sat down here doing some work, listening to you. I was just like, and then I vaguely remember having this same conversation last year about Malcolm, me and you, and
I was right.
I'm gone, Luke. No.
I was 100%
right. No, you were not. No, you were not.
Hold on, wait. Not only was I right, I was right 10 times over. I told you he was an average player. Malcolm Rodriguez's height was too damn much, and that he's very replaceable. And what's the first thing they do when they get a chance is replace his ass. Did I make that up, or is Jack Campbell not here no more? Was I asleep?
These are all different skill sets, Luke. You've got to look at them as players and what they bring to the team. It's
okay, fair enough.
You're not if you were going to go for that, you would go for a big bruising type linebacker with Jack. Jack Campbell is a do-it-all linebacker. Plays in coverage. He's going to be the green dot leader of the team in the future. His ass came in to replace Anzalone long term. That's who your replacement for Campbell is long term there with Rodrigo. And let's not forget last year, Luke, you said, the hype's there, but is he going to get in the team? Is he going to do well? He was in the team all year. Now he tailed off, but he's a 6th-round pick who played a full season. Let's go tail off a bit.
The linebacker room was
so his injuries.
You could have played linebacker for us last season. I mean, come on.
I appreciate that, Luke, but I'd fancy myself more a D. I'd fancy myself more a D lineman. Or,
let me bring in Rumble and stuff. My man Lions Rumble 81 is in the building. What up, though?
What up, though, Luke? What up, though, Ant? What up, chat?
He said, "Listen, it's Gordo. Listen, I got to say to my Luke doesn't like seeing late round picks produced, not even a little. So, yes, I do. But what I'm saying is there's a difference between producing and producing. Like I heard people say Matthew Stafford was Pat Stafford. Well, I'm like, what do you mean? We're trying to get in games. Meanwhile, this dude wasn't doing So just look at the tackles for a loss. Look at all these numbers come on, bro. These tackles were way after the line of scrimmage. I'm just putting it out there. So what I sort of came on, Luke. So obviously, like I said, this time last year we had the same thing with Rodrigo, but then when this year we're talking about Broderick, right? And I don't know where this hype you're saying has come from, that we're hyping him up to all-pro status, all this sort of stuff. But when Broderick was drafted, there are a lot of people who went, who the hell's this guy? Why have we given up picks for him? Why have we come so high for a guy there? And yeah, it's true. Legitimate questions, do not get me wrong. But then there were a lot of people who were just saying, he's meh. What does he bring? He's a 330-pound guy who stands in the middle of the line and tries to block the run, but he's not. And I mean, we actually went into the tape and we saw him play and what he can do. And never at any point was it going to be a case if he's going to be an all-star, but you can see why they drafted him. I mean, this is a 330-pound guy, Luke, who was chasing down quarterbacks coming out the pocket, who was getting in passing lanes, breaking up passes, getting sacks, disrupting the line. What's
this is a guy. Well,
you know what's impressive, brother? This is what's impressive. What's impressive is watching a Wolverine take on a grizzly bear. Watching a fat guy do fat people stuff against low-tier talent ain't impressive. I mean, and Nico's dying laughing at this. I'm just making a point. I seen a honey badger take on a damn elephant and a lion. But if we're going to talk about impressive, I mean, come on.
Okay, right. Let's just put this into consideration here, Luke. You say against low-tier talent, but the team, especially we were watching him against, Their left tackle 2 seasons ago plays starting left guard for the San Francisco 49ers now. The UTSA they put bona fide NFL offensive line talent into the league. One of the better teams you're going to get at being able to do it. And what was his tackle for a loss? Luke, I don't look at things like that. For when it comes to the defensive tackle position, people go, "Oh, the stat padders." I did the same thing with Aleem 2 years ago. Everyone goes, "Oh, well, there's no stats there." But watch him play. Nose tackle, that position, those interior D linemen do a lot of the dirty work that gets no appreciation on stat sheets. And it's why groups like PFF, Madden, all these guys can't rate them for shit because they don't know what they're talking about and they don't know what they're looking for. In Martin's case, this is not he is an all-star worldy pick by Brad Holmes and he's going to be a starting guy who's going to be, first team All-Pro after year one. That's hyperbole and that's coming. And I get this. But in your case, I know you've always pushed back on Holmes and the praise that he gets from the Lions fan base. You think it's too much. And I get that. There has to be, a pushback. There has to be criticisms of Holmes. But I just think sometimes in these cases, you're going a little too far to discredit his draft picks and trying
I'm not discrediting him. What I'm saying is this. The fan base, the media, and everybody are more than prepared to toss the sacrificial lamb, aka Aaron Glenn, under the bus. That's why I put the thumbnail up. It's all on his shoulders, right? Because I wanted people to understand that this is a bunch of malarkey. This is a bunch of BS. But I'm going to give Lions Rumble a chance to come in. I'm going to bring in Miko next, and then I see you in the back too, John. Hold tight. All right, Rumble, go ahead. I mean, clearly, I'm not trying to be the negative nanny here. I'm trying to understand where in the hell is this love affair for a guy took it in the third round from a school that half of us never heard of against competition that nobody really paid attention to. And now all of a sudden he's about to reinvent the wheel. Tell me what am I missing?
I think I'm agreeing with Anthony. I'm agreeing with you. I think this is sort of the pick that we've come accustomed to seeing Brad Holmes do based off of what we got out of Amon-Ra St. Brown, where we drafted him at. And I think that's where this is coming into as far as the fan goes. This is another guy we kind of drafted late. Like you said, nobody really heard of. And nobody really expected, I guess, to, I don't know, be maybe people thought he was going to get drafted further down. But I think this is this year's Brad Holmes must-have pick, and I think he does bring a lot. Like to Anthony's point, man, he's going to get, on that D line, he's going to demand a double team. You can't double team him and Aleem.
Hold on, wait a minute. Wait a minute.
He's big.
No,
he's
listen,
big.
I know the Lions Kool-Aid is strong, but who in the hell double teaming him?
I mean, how can you not double team him? He's a walking.
So you telling me Aleem McNeil getting double teamed? You telling me he getting double teamed? You telling me Aiden getting double teamed? So you telling me our linebackers and our team finna eat?
One of them's going to get through. If they line him up next to Aleem McNeil, who in their right mind? How? That's 1,000 pounds right there. Damn near between the two of them. 600 pounds. Who in their right mind? You need more than one person to stop that. Okay, I'm sorry. Right. It's going to create a hole maybe for your linebacker to sneak in. Maybe because I don't know. I don't want to say I'm a big guy. I'm 6'2", but if I'm behind him, you can't really see him. You can't really see me. You know what I mean?
Listen. You can definitely see his big ass. You can see him. He's big enough to see.
No, I'm saying if I'm behind him, if you got like a Brian Branch, or you got like he can. That's probably why they picked him up, because he's gonna that's a big guy, man. I just wanted people to come in and tell me why I should be buying into this and everything like this. Why we so sold on everything? I'm gonna bring Miko in, as he been smiling the entire time, laughing. He shook his head at me at least 14 times. I was keeping count over here, but I'm gonna bring my man Miko in. Miko, feel free
to check off on me. I'm here for it today. I'm just
Bruh, I'm here as Ant's reinforcement because I don't know what. Bro, what is you on today?
Listen, I'm sitting here reading articles. I'm looking at my fellow YouTubers, and I'm like, are we really hyping up people to my potentially? Like, this is cat,
okay,
bro.
So all right. Y'all talked about Broderick enough. I'll get to Broderick in a second. Let's go to AG because I can't let you get away with trying to spin this narrative that AG somehow needs a pass. Last time I checked, AG's job is to scheme up the defense.
Yes.
It's for him to help this scouting department and this coaching staff and this organization determine what type of defensive players they need. And then when they get out there in the games, it's his responsibility to put his players in position through play calling. Last time I checked, nobody told Aaron Glenn to go out there and run zero coverage for most of the season when he knew he didn't have the corners to do it. That's an Aaron Glenn issue.
Let me ask you a question. Do you believe that Aaron Glenn went rogue? And basically said,
no, I don't think he went rogue. I think he picked a horrible scheme.
Okay, hold on. Do you think he picked that scheme and never gave any attention to detail to the head coach?
Yes. From the looks of how that defense played.
So you think Dan Campbell is calling the offense and the defense?
I think Dan Campbell trusted Aaron Glenn to call the defense, and Aaron Glenn dropped the ball with the scheme that he wants to run versus what he knew he had available to him. Okay, right? Look, this coaching staff has talked about from day one putting their players in position to succeed and do what they want to do. Going into last year, though, they specifically were talking about like, hey, let's take the defense up a level, right? We taught them the basics. We want to take them in a different direction. The direction he tried to take this team in and take that unit in did not fit their skill set. So what happened? After they went 1-6, what did they do? They rolled it back. They rolled it back to what worked and to what actually fit their players. And that's when the defense started playing better. So going into this year, I've been one of the, you talk about people with the pitchforks out for Aaron Glenn. I'm absolutely one of them because it's his responsibility.
Listen, I'm listening to everybody. I listen to all of y'all. A lot of times y'all getting me through some moments, right? I'm just saying, I'm putting them out there. I'm gonna bring in another person. Like I said, I surrender, But when I hear all these conversations and how we're so quick to be ready to blame this guy as a sacrificial lamb, I'm just trying to tell you, wake up!
Wake up!
Hey, it's not us serving him up as a sacrificial lamb though. When he laid himself on the altar,
wait, hold on. First, the excuse was we didn't have enough talent on defense. Then the excuse was we had talent on defense, which I personally thought was a joke. I watched it in real time. Malcolm Rodriguez is a mad player that you could have upgraded from easily, which is why Jack Campbell's here. That linebacker core was hot garbage, and I had to listen to people say linebackers don't matter.
So
it was garbage.
So it's the player's fault that Aaron Glenn then knew that Jeff Okudah was coming off a torn Achilles and thought, like, you know what, I'm still going to put him in man coverage, though. It's his fault that when he saw Amani Oruwariye playing just hug him, like having hugging sections with every wide receiver that he manned up against, that's Aaron Glenn's fault. Instead of realizing that, you know what, these guys are not covering well in man coverage, I need to stop putting them in one-on-one situations with no safety help. That's the player's fault, though.
And we're conveniently forgetting that all these young players were part of the scheme that when, they were nearly top 10 for the over half a season, which is a real good sample size. When they bedded in and got there.
When they changed the scheme, to be more zone heavy, when they changed the scheme to be more focused on defending the run outside of the Carolina game, right?
Why we keep taking that game out?
No, because we can't sit here and hype up and be like and point to how bad the Carolina game is, but then not acknowledge the fact that we held Saquon in check. The fact that we, played better.
You give up 1,087 yards. Take that game out. You give up 1,087 yards rushing.
Okay, I'm just simply saying that's for the entire. Wait, for what? The last stretch?
For the last stretch, you gave up 1,087 yards of rushing.
And you're giving up about a third of that in one game in the Carolina game. So let's not.
No. I took that game out, and it's still I took that game out. It's still 1,087 rushing yards.
Justin Fields was like Field of Dreams against us.
Okay, but that's a quarterback though. Like
I don't care.
And that to your point.
I don't care.
That to your point is linebacker play. But again, to sit here and say that like we're serving Aaron Glenn up as a sacrificial lamb, that's not true. He did this to himself.
Okay. All right. Let me bring in my man Jon Kapler. I want to give everybody a chance. And Will, you next, brother. Hold tight, brother. Don't go nowhere. John, I see you drinking the blue Kool-Aid. Is it yummy?
I'm trying to because apparently I need it, but I don't think it's strong enough, but I don't think it's going to work for all this bullshit.
Probably. Go ahead, brother. I'm trying to figure out what I'm missing.
So you were asking where do we rank in the D-line? And Anthony, you said we were where for the defensive line? End of the teens, maybe the 20s?
Yeah.
Really given with the defensive tackle help that we got, were you really giving them that much credit for the defensive line?
Yes, because I've actually gone and watched our defensive tackles. I have not gone and just made assumptions based on what people are saying. I actually go and do my own research for things. So yeah,
no, that's good. Like Luke always says, do your homework. I do one upgrade at defensive tackle, and it was a dude who's big. I mean, maybe that's our plan is, two big guys up the middle. And like I said in my one video, maybe Broderick's doing yoga with Aleem and he's working out. But like, I don't know if our line is that good. I mean, for the edge help, yeah, but defensive tackle, I don't know. Linebackers' lives matter, but yeah. I don't care how many tackles Alex Anzalone had, 124. How many of those were after a first down?
A lot. A whole lot.
Thank you.
And it lends itself to this question from Perry Ball about, do you feel...
I want to hear an actual answer. I don't want to hear just, oh yeah, a lot. I kind of want to hear...
I was going to say, like, a number would be nice. Like, if you're going to say that, like, do you have, like...
I literally don't know. I'm asking this. If anyone knows, please tell me. What would we think Anzalone's tackles were after there was already a first down? A good majority of them, I would think. So his 124 tackles don't really mean too much if there's already a first down.
Well, let's see if they talk about it here, because to me,
I have the problem, Luke. It's all this. People say this hyperbole, especially towards Martin, but the hyperbole to bash him as a player is even worse because it's based on nothing. The hype that's been given to him is by actually watching him, how he plays. And again, he's not been hyped more than anything other than he can be a good player. And especially since I've watched him, I know why Holmes drafted him now. I do. I didn't before, but I actually sat and watched. But we just talk about Alex Anzalone. In terms of Alex Anzalone, in terms of this is one of the issues that I brought up, right? This is one of the issues that I brought up, and I said, hey, these are just based on the numbers provided by what is his damn name?
Tim
Tweeneman, right? These are just what the numbers he provided, right? Now, we can talk about all the different groups that they had, right? Rushing plays of 10 plus yards allowed by the Detroit Lions defense. They were 24th.
So
right now, nobody played more games at linebacker than Alex Anzalone, right? And I witnessed with my own two damn eyes many of those tackles come after, a first down. Many. We gave up a lot of big plays. When you talk about 377 first downs allowed by the Detroit Lions, come on. It's not hyperbole to say, you know what? These things are big plays happening in very bad situations. Even when you think about the third down percentages,
now is that the scheme though? But if you just let them catch the ball and then tackle them though.
I mean, it is yeah, because when you decide that you're going to play your players in man coverage and they've clearly shown that they can't do it, you've set your players up to fail. So to Perry's question, do I feel like Aaron Glenn necessarily had the talent? Maybe not, but he still chose to implement a scheme that didn't highlight the skill set that his players had. You put them on islands and then are surprised that guys are catching and running for first downs. That's not an accident.
If what you're saying is true, Miko, then you saying that our general manager failed. He should have fired Aaron Glenn before the season even started.
They chose to fire who instead? Aubrey Pleasant.
I know, that was a scapegoat.
Guess who's next on the chopping block?
I know, they're going down the list, and after him it's going to be Dan Campbell. Then we talk about Brad Holmes.
if they can't fix the defense, then that's the natural progression of things. Though, when your secondary was the worst part of your defense last year, and they weren't stopping people, and they were getting holding penalties and getting pass interference penalties, yes, the next person that you fire, especially in a game where all week all we heard the coaching staff talk about, Aaron Glenn and Dan Campbell talk about, when we play the Dolphins, what are we going to do? Press them at the line. Press them at the line.
I gotta ask this question. I gotta ask this question to every single one, because Perry patiently waited for it. Do you feel that Aaron Glenn had the talent to work with last year? Anthony, yes or no?
He had a good part of it, yeah.
To do what? To do what?
To have a good
be
defense.
Last? To not be last?
No, to have a good defense. You had a much easier schedule.
What is good, right? Are we talking what, top half? Are we talking 20? Are we talking top 10? Do I think he had the talent to have a top 10
defense? Say 15 to 20.
So
I think he had enough, yeah.
Okay. What say you, Rumble?
As far as AG,
yeah,
what he had, I do think he lacked some playmakers in the secondary, and I also think that Aubrey Pleasant, I don't know what he was doing with the secondary last year. I heard he said he made mistakes. Maybe it was too much for.
I don't know. I want to bring William in because William patiently waited. And then you can go ahead, Anthony, while I bring in William. William, I'm gonna let you go, brother. I'm gonna let Anthony finish his thoughts, and then you go next.
So I just want to quickly ask Luke. Oh, sorry, go on, Will.
Oh, just how's everyone doing? How are y'all doing?
Hey,
you guys enjoying the night?
Listen, I came in with a whole lot of bubble gum and a kick ass, and I'm all out of bubble gum. I want people to explain to me why in the hell is the man Aaron Glenn is all on his shoulders. He's the next guy up, and nobody can explain it to me. Like, I'm looking for it, but I'm gonna give you a chance to speak your piece, William. You can ask me a million questions. I'm gonna answer them as truthfully as possible. But Anthony, finish your thought, brother.
Okay, so Luke, explain to me why Aubrey Pleasant was a scapegoat. Name me one player, maybe outside of Jerry, that he developed in our secondary.
Say that one more time. Wait, what happened to William? Did William leave on me? No, Will, come back.
No, I'm here.
So if you're gonna...
was Rumble. Oh, I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. So you said, why was he the scapegoat? Well, here's the thing.
Name me players that he developed in that secondary, please.
Jacobs was developed. He was much better. I hate to say it, but even Will Harris shows a little bit of life.
Get the hell out of here, Luke.
I'm sorry.
Get the hell out of here.
Listen, I was ready to burn the building down. I'm still ready to burn the building down with Will Harris.
Shame
but
on you.
Whoever came up with the idea of moving from fucking safety to corner, good call. He wasn't as bad as he was at safety, but he was still pretty fucking bad. I'm sorry.
Was Will Harris better than Malcolm Rodriguez in your eyes?
No.
Yeah, it was an
okay. Okay, making sure we're on the same page there.
Listen, I may be having an opinion, but I ain't stupid. It's no way close. Like, if I look at their games no. Will Harris pissed me off, but he was much better at the cornerback spot than he was at the safety. At the safety, I was like, what the fuck is you doing? That's what I walked away saying.
Okay,
go ahead, Anthony.
Developing Jerry.
Well, with Will Harris this year, just dumb luck at corner.
Was making Will Harris not the worst safety in the NFL, but probably a bottom 10 corner in the NFL. If that's his greatest achievement, why does he deserve to keep his job here longer? Why did he?
Wait a minute. Didn't he do wonders for
He screwed up his career.
Amani Oruwariye, I think he did wonders for him too.
Amani regressed. Amani regressed
under his watch.
If his career's been screwed, Jeff got no better.
This is the reason. This is the reason why I think another reason why I think he's a scapegoat too, because I think that he came in with all this hype. Everybody was hyped about it. I think another reason why he was a scapegoat is because you have to have some kind of response. So by firing it sends a message to everybody else: get your stuff together or be gone. But you couldn't go out and fire the defensive coordinator. You couldn't do that. You did the same thing with Anthony Lynn, and I'm like, listen, bro, it's not Lynn's fault if y'all refuse to commit to the run and not use the running back he want to use.
Can I come in real quick there?
Yeah,
go ahead.
Let's not talk about Anthony Lynn when the guy who replaced him got us to be a top 5 offense in the league with Amon-Ra and a bag of dirt all the other positions. Like,
Did we run the ball? Hold on. Did we run the ball more under this offensive coordinator than we did under Anthony Lynn?
I can actually go check that. I'll disappear for a moment, boys. I'm going in the deep dive.
Yeah, call him out. So, Luke, I will leave this Aubrey Pleasant thing alone, Luke, if you can not avoid the question.
I'm not avoiding
it. I asked for one legitimate reason why Aubrey Pleasant should have kept his job, given the fact that he's developed next to no talent here. Why did he not deserve to be fired?
Because I believe that the talent that was on his team was not up to par from the beginning. I never thought that we had the talent for that defense to be anything special, and it showed time and time again. It's one of the reasons why I've been going after the general manager. I felt that this talent that was on this defense was not where it needed to be, and I pointed it out. I pointed out the D line. I pointed out the D tackle, and everybody kept, well, you can't get it all in 1 year. And I'm like, but you could have. You could have did some things in free agency. You could have did some. You've been cheap. You spent all your money on freaking offense. Offense has been giving weapon on top of weapon on top of weapon. And defense, the first weapon you give them is Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. Thank you. About damn time.
So
Aiden Hutchinson was ranked as an honorable mention among NFL executives as one of like the top defensive ends in the league. You
were picking second overall. The defense was 3 years bad before we even got an 8.
Did he hit the pick? Did he hit the pick?
So we're not talking about if he hit the pick. We're talking about
we're talking about people he's added, right?
No.
It don't matter where he's added him from.
Will, listen to what I'm saying, Will. Listen to what I'm saying, Will. When he asked me what is the one reason why RB Pleasant should have kept his job, and my response to that is this defense was hot garbage before RB Pleasant got here. It was always hot garbage, right? And I'm telling you that by the time RB Pleasant got here, that general manager did nothing to help that damn defense. It was hot garbage. He added people like Mike Hughes because it was cheap. He added people like trading for what's that damn D tackle name? Michael Brockers, because it was cheap. He was cheap. We've had the second lowest, if not the number one lowest suspense on defense over the years under this general manager. We have got weapon after weapon after weapon on offense, and I'm cool with that. But at some point, like this past season, we needed to full-fledged go a-holes ball deep on defense, and that's why I'm pointing out. If you want to tell me this is an RB Pleasant issue, fine. But guess what? He was not here 3 years prior to our general manager getting here and that defense being garbage. But go ahead.
Can I throw in some stats real quick?
Sure.
So during the 8-2 stretch, the reason I bring up the 8-2 stretch is because that's the pivotal moment in our defensive scheme change. That is the main thing that led us to win games, that our defensive scheme finally got, like Anthony Glenn has talked about it, he dumbed it down and made it simpler. Everyone's just now playing football, running to the ball. So some stats I think we should look at are from that 8-2 time period. We were 4th in pressure rate and 6th in sacks over that time span. In TFLs / no game, so they gain 0 or lose yards, we were 8th in the league. So actually, during that stretch, we were one of the best teams in getting negative plays or no yards at all. So there's actual tangible ways we can see our defense improving. And that's why I really don't care about the bigger chunk plays, those 10-plus run yard things, because I see it with my defense at Western Michigan. The way we run our defense is, sure, they may chunk us, but we just need 3 plays. If we get you a negative on 1 play, I think there's like a 25% chance of them scoring the rest of that drive. Like, just on 1 play. So, us getting people off schedule and making people kick field goals because of it and getting them off the field. So what if they get a 15-yard, 20-yard run? So what if they get a 15, 20-yard pass? We're getting them off the field, and we went from giving up 32.8 points a game. We allowed 32.8 points a game during the 1-6 stretch. We allowed 20.8 during the 8-2 stretch. That is that would have put us like 8th or 9th in the league defensively. So that's why I don't worry about Aaron Glenn too much, because it seems as long as he carries the momentum and learns from last year and keeps that scheme, hey, we can be one of the best teams in the league defensively with all the shit we added in the secondary. And now a new rotational developmental piece in Bradford Martin, and a bona fide stud linebacker at Jack Campbell, and Chauncey Gardner, and Cam Sutton. And it's like, we're building a threshing machine here. And I'm just excited for this shit, man. I'm excited.
I feel like you threw out all the numbers, right? And I love how we took a sample size, right? Like, we just took a sample size of it, and it's beautiful. But we you don't mind giving up 10, 15 yards, but we didn't make the playoff because we gave up 10, 15 fucking yards. And it's like really bad when you look at it from a number standpoint in terms of it. 25% of 3rd and 10 plus
6.
No,
you missed the playoffs because you went 1-6 to start the season. That's why you missed the playoffs.
No, that's not why you missed the playoffs. You missed the playoffs because you couldn't stop the damn run. In fact, the team that beat the shit out of you with Geno Smith. Did not lead
to you going 1-6?
I feel like the 8 losses we had.
No, because guess what? You know what? Because guess what? You came down the stretch. You came down the stretch, right? You're not going to convince me that the Panthers were a good team. You came down the stretch, and you want to talk about the 1-6 start. All you got to do is win out. That's it.
You're not going to convince me that the Patriots were a good team, but they kicked your butt too.
I don't care if the listen. I don't care if the Patriots kicked my butt. You said that we didn't make the playoffs because we went 1-6. I'm telling you that they still had their destiny in their hands to go to the playoffs
starting the season 1-6.
That's not the point. That's not the point.
It is the point.
No, it's
not. If you don't go
1-6,
if you don't go 1-6, then guess what? Going 8-2 down the stretch is like you're not fighting for a position. If you actually win 2 or 3 games, and that's early start of the season, guess what? You're not in the fight for your life.
Let me ask you a question. If the Lions win 10 games, no matter how you get them, 10 games at any point in time in the season, just based on last year, are they in the playoffs?
Yeah, I think so, because I think 10 is enough to win the division, honestly.
Yeah, right. That's what I'm saying.
That bad.
Right. Okay, so we know. Well, it wouldn't won a division because you know that other fraudulent Vikings.
No, I thought you said this season. I thought you said this season.
No. I mean like last year. Like if they had won 10 games, are they in the playoffs? No matter how the 10 games came, whether it's a game week 1, a game week 6, whatever it was, 10 games somewhere on last year's schedule, do they make the playoffs?
Yeah, because they were a game out.
Okay, and the game that they lost with the destiny in their hands was to the Carolina Panthers, correct?
It was.
And what was the total amount of passing yards in the first half in that game? You remember?
No, I don't.
You want to try to take a wild guess? I'm pretty sure you can guess it.
No, I honestly, no, not really.
Let's try 100 yards even.
But Luke, you want to focus on that game where it's like that's.
I'm not focusing on just that game. What I'm telling you is this.
Because wait. That's a healthy amount of passing yards for one half. 100. If we did that 2 halves, 200 passing yards in a game, hey, that was great coverage. Hey, I ain't going to be mad at that.
Bro, now, they only had they only had that because they had 231 rushing yards in the first half.
So Luke, how can you hammer on one game and then dismiss a 1-6 start as not important?
Because I'm finna show you why I'm dismissing the 1-6 start. Even after a 1-6 start, they still held their destinies to make the playoffs.
But if you didn't go 1-6, it doesn't come down to one game. Like we're sitting here talking about one game that it came down to.
But
they went 1-6.
Hold on. We can do a lot of major what ifs. You're talking about a whole sample of 7 games, right? You're talking about a whole sample of 7 games. I'm telling you, on the 17-game season, even after a 1-6 start, they still had a chance to make the playoffs and get into the playoffs. And it was missed because your defense, which everybody wants to blame Aaron Glenn for, who did not have talent, had a bunch of mad players. They didn't. The whole secondary is different.
Hang on, that's garbage, Luke. So I want to come back to this Aubrey Pleasant thing again. And you said he had no talent. Jeff Okudah, 1st-round pick. Ife Melifonwu, 3rd-round pick. Tracy Walker, 3rd-round pick. Will Harris, 3rd-round pick. No, I'm giving you day 2. Top day 2 picks time after time after time, and you're saying no talent. Well,
those are all garbage people.
You can't just
They're not the only one still here.
Yeah, I
Harris
didn't.
yeah, come on.
You were hyping Will Harris as one of his greatest achievements a minute ago, so don't start backtracking on me. Luke, you are saying he's got no talent. You can't then dismiss me listing off day 2 pick after day 2 pick after day 2 pick that he can't develop and make a cornerstone and say, I've got talent to work with. Man's got 4 picks in the top 2 days there, and he's supplemented by Amani, who's a 5th round pick, who he just absolutely tanked his development, and Jerry, who's a UDFA. So don't go around this route of he had no talent. He did. He couldn't develop his top talent. He could barely develop the talent that was already there. So come on, again.
And then had his players go rogue in the game.
Yeah,
like it's you cannot dismiss that. That secondary completely went rogue in that Miami game, and still actually was kind of in it despite playing the way they did.
Exactly, and they correctly
how
identified.
can you develop late round talent, but you can't develop like 1st and 2nd round talent? Since we've hit on all these late round picks, wouldn't it be easier to develop the higher round talent?
But if you put them in a position to succeed, if you put them in a position that actually they can thrive off of.
But Luke, you're saying, Luke, that AG's getting unfairly targeted, but Aubrey Pleasant was in charge of the worst unit on our defense and rightly got his ass fired. Should they have gone to AG then and fired AG then for Aubrey's problems? I mean, what should they have done?
No, what I'm telling you is this. This is what I'm trying to get.
Who should have been fired?
No, listen, I'm finna wrap it up in a nutshell so that you can catch on. I want everybody to be clear about what I'm saying. The Detroit Lions defense, before we even got Brad Holmes, before we even got Dan Campbell or anybody, was garbage. Can we all agree on that?
Straight garbage, yes.
Can we all agree on that? Anthony, you agree on that?
Yeah.
Miko, you agree on that?
Yep.
Will, you agree on that?
Yeah.
Okay. And after the first year with Brad Holmes and everything like that, that same defense was garbage. Do we all agree on that?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Now we are going into the second year of Brad Holmes and Dan Campbell and company, right? That defense, what would you say? Was it good? Was it garbage? What would you say? It was okay?
First half
they were okay.
horrible.
I'm talking about the whole season. We're talking about the whole season. I'm not doing sample size. We're talking about the whole season.
Then in that case, guess what? They were okay.
They were okay. All right. We got okay.
Okay
Anthony,
to Matt.
Okay. Okay to Matt. All right.
Okay, mediocre, yeah.
Okay to mediocre. All right, cool. Now we're in year 3. Where should they be?
If it's just about learning the scheme and they got better because they switched the scheme, then they should be better. If it's not players and they got better because
but they shouldn't be changed. They shouldn't be okay to mad to mediocre, right? They should be higher than okay to mad.
No, they should be somewhere. They should be a top half of the top half of the league defense, right? Yeah. You've revamped your secondary. You have veteran type of players that ideally play the type of scheme that Aaron Glenn wants to play. You've added some youth at your linebacker position. You've added some depth along your defensive line through Broderick Martin, as well as guys just being healthy. Yes, it should be better. We shouldn't be talking about a bottom 25 defense this year.
I'm glad we said
carry over from the end of last year into this year.
Okay, I'm glad we all on the same page, and that's why RB President was a scapegoat, because you all can admit that damn defense was garbage. Listen, you all admitted that defense was garbage last season.
Yes,
you said okay. I said okay.
No.
Nobody said garbage. You keep saying garbage.
So, Luke, that defense was garbage, because the coaching wasn't great either. We're just saying, how did it perform? We're not saying, is it the player's fault or the coach's fault? You just asked for a general overview on how that defense was.
Right.
It was okay.
But I don't look at RB Pleasant and say, that happened because of him. The linebackers missing.
You don't watch the Miami game. You don't watch the Miami game and say,
okay, we can talk about the Miami game. RB Pleasant wasn't there for the Panther game, so whose fault was that? Now we go down
the pause. Please don't shift the goalposts here. We were just saying
we're not shifting the goalposts. The thing that we want to no. Wait a minute.
I've dropped 20 pounds chasing these goalposts.
Listen. The thing that we want to do is we want to keep talking about take out the Panther game. And then the one game that we keep going back to in terms of having a conversation pertaining to RB Pleasant is the Miami game. So if we can talk about the Miami game, then we can certainly talk about the Panthers
because
game.
The Miami game is a clear indication of their coach, of your head coach and your defensive coordinator going out and saying the way that you compete against a Miami offense is to jam them at the line and be physical with their wide receivers. Your secondary then went out in that Miami game and played off coverage. That is not, it's not the same game. They didn't get beat the same way.
Okay, so did I ever say that they got beat the same way? Did you ever hear me say that?
No, but you're trying to say like what is like
that's not what I asked. That's not what I asked.
That's not what I asked.
What I asked is they lost the game against the Dolphins, correct?
Right.
Did they lose the game against the Panthers?
They did. In two different forms.
Wait. I get it. In two different forms of fashion. And in your opinion, they lost the game against the Dolphins because of RB Pleasant's cornerbacks going rogue.
Yes.
Right? Okay. Yes. So why did they lose the game against the Panthers?
Because they didn't have defensive line depth to be able to rotate in Isaiah Buggs and Ali McNeil to have fresh bodies to stop the run.
And is that on Aaron Glenn or is that on the general manager?
You can put that on Brad Holmes. I'm not saying every game is on Aaron Glenn.
Then we back to my main point again. Why are we focusing on
one game sample size?
No,
why are we focusing on
Aaron Glenn?
Luke, you are dismissing the first third of this season, and then you're making
I'm not dismissing it.
The crux of your argument is about this Carolina game, and you are dismissing seven.
The crux of my argument is about the whole season. When I look at the whole season, the biggest thing coming into that season, when everybody was on the hype train that I complained about, that I was adamant about, that I had concern about, was the defense. It never wavered. I was so upset about it that I went after the general manager for not getting adequate talent on that defense so we can do some things to make it happen.
Yep.
Rookies take time.
Can I get a question real quick? Luke, what did you have the Lions going pre-season? But while we're talking about hype train.
10-6.
10-6.
I'm sorry, 10-7. I'm sorry, 10-7. 10-7 because 17 games. 10-7.
Yeah. So I distinctly remember your range being 9 to 12 wins.
Correct. 9 to 12 wins that I saw that they can get. Yes.
But
my final prediction was 10-7.
Yeah. So and mind you, 10-7 with no talent on the roster defensively. Our defense has no talent from Brad Holmes, yet the prediction is 10-7 with a ceiling of 12.
Correct.
So to me, and I'm pretty sure to everybody else here, would feel like you also putting in the hype to the hype train that you're now complaining about.
No. So here's the difference between what I did.
Ben Johnson hadn't run his top 5 offense.
Wait a minute. Here's the difference between what I did. So when they asked us for a range, they said, hey, the floor and ceiling. I gave a ceiling of 12 wins. I gave a floor of 9. My final prediction was 10, right? And so the reason I can have that, knowing that defense was hot garbage, was because I knew who we were playing. We were playing teams that, in my opinion, were not good teams and that we should have beaten because they were not good teams. Most of them were in rebuilds. Most of them were getting on startovers. So I had already accounted for us to essentially split. I had us sweeping the Bears. I had us splitting with the Vikings. I had us splitting with the Packers. We ended up sweeping the Packers, but I had us splitting with them. There go 4 wins right there, right? Then I knew we was playing the Panthers. I knew they was not good. I was like, we beating them. That's a win. I also had us beating the Eagles because I figured it's the opening game of the season. Eagles would come out a little flat. They came out somewhat flat, then picked up, then went flat, but it don't matter. I said, okay, that's another one. I looked at some other games that I thought we can win. I thought we can beat what the hell the Jacksonville Jaguars. I felt that we can beat the Jets. I felt that we can beat New England. But nonetheless, as you can see, my wins start adding up. And so what I was looking at was, okay, these are some teams in the middle of rebuild. They don't really have their shit together. We should be able to go in and get some wins out of this, even if we got to get into a shootout. What I did not expect to happen at all.
1-6?
Nope. Was for them to give up more points than we scored. Many of those games that we went 1-6 in, they gave up. Seattle, you gave up 48 when you scored 45. You should not lose that game.
So you were basing this offense on, I mean, we didn't even have a top 5 Ben Johnson offense at that point. We just had 3 wins at the end of the first season where we looked okay. You were just magically expecting us to have a top 5 offense. And to put and talking about the offense, you keep talking about this Carolina game and rubbish in the defense. What about the offense that did nothing all game? The defense was on the pitch for nearly 40 minutes.
What's the offense? What did the offense?
You're the Lee McNeil. You are a defensive lineman, and you are on the field for nearly 40 minutes as a 300-pound guy doing rep after rep after rep while they're shoving the ball down your throat. Where's the blame for the offense in this? Why are we just saying, oh, it was rubbish defensive talent here? It clearly wasn't. The offense couldn't string a drive together that day, but that just conveniently is not in this conversation at all. Even the best defense will crumble when it's on the field for 40 minutes.
So here's how I view this, right? You had to watch that game, right? And I know you watched it because you was pissed.
I watched every game.
I know, but one of my favorite moments of the season was that goddamn game and your reaction. Like we ever did a short. They need your reaction to that. I literally thought you was going to break your computer that day. I swear.
I probably did, Luke. I probably did.
So here's my point. Here's my point. We can talk about the offense, right? We can talk about the offense in that particular game against the Panthers. Now, I only brought up the Panthers game to show you that if I took that game out, they still gave up 1,087 rushing yards, right? And we can take that game out. But my point I'm trying to make to you is this, okay? And just follow me for a second. They gave up 231 rushing yards. They gave up at least 3 runs that I remember that went well over 15 yards. Not even close. And they did all that in like one quarter, right? Just killing us, gashing us piece by piece. And the only excuse that I got was it was cold as hell outside. Like, we not from Michigan. Now, I know we a dome team, but they can practice outside. There are things you can do to prepare for it. I understand that the field was hard. All these excuses we come up with. But my point I'm trying to make to you is this. The reason I'm bringing that game up is because everybody wants to toss that game out, but then want me to talk about those other singular games. Well, wait a minute. Let's talk about the whole season.
At all.
That's not true.
That's not true. I said it was a collapse of their mental fortitude for playoff contention. They did bottle it that day. It was a really bad day. But again, I'm going to go back to your offense puts up 7 points. I mean, Luke, you've played football. I believe you were on defense, were you not?
I was.
Yeah. Yeah, you're going to tell me that you're going to go on a field for 40 minutes with teams, offensive linemen coming at you, making tackles, and you go stuff them all day.
Nope. But you know what, though?
Tire out. You are not going to, because don't forget, by the end of that season, our roster was thin as paper.
They had 40 minutes, but listen, they had 40 minutes because they couldn't stop the run. It was a nosebleed with no answer to it whatsoever. You could have stuck a tampon up there and it would have bled through. I'm telling you,
it's not one or the other though. It's
100%. It's 100%.
It's a combination of the two. The offense couldn't sustain drives. The defense wasn't getting 3 and outs. So yes, one side of the ball looks way worse, but it's because it was such a historic. Hold on, wait a minute. Miko, let me ask you this. My good brother over there said he talked about the defense been on the field for 40 minutes, right? That's what he brought up. Am I right, Miko? He did.
Okay. My question to you is do you believe that they was on the field 40 minutes because of the offense or majority of it because of their inability to stop the run?
I would say the offense. Like bro, they were 31-7. You're not putting up points. You're not sustaining.
They had 231 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns in the first half.
And guess what? If you give your defense a chance to get a breather because you don't have the defensive tackle depth, if your offense can just string along drives, like you never made another march down the field to even threaten to score. And you're expecting your defense just to hold up against.
But we're not listening.
We're
not talking about scoring. We're talking about time of possession, right? I'm telling you that you can sit there and say how much. If you were to look up right now, how much time of possession the Lions offense had, what would you say?
Didn't Anthony already answer that? We had 20.
Just for that one,
our defense is out there for 40.
And Luke, this wasn't an isolated incident. Don't forget the Pats game. Was it the Cowboys game?
Points.
0 points. 7 points. Defense that was run absolutely ragged because it was on the field because the offense couldn't sustain drives. And I damn well remember from year 1 when we were losing games all the time, we always said that defense, well, like it was playing with a lot of heart. and it was getting put out on the field for too much because our offense could not get out on there. It has been a recurring theme for a long time now. Last year, we didn't see it as much because it got better, but there were 3 games last year where they couldn't do squat and the defense gave up points. And you're going to tell me that if we even put up 14, 20 points in those games, that they're going to give up all the yardage they did? No, they're going to get off the field. They're going to be able to recover. And this is a team last year that's got a lot of rookies in it, that's young. You can't just keep throwing them out there time after time after time after time against an established offense like that and go, oh, well, yeah, they're gonna hold them to nothing.
But I think it's also Luke, this is also the thing, though, right? I don't think Anthony or I are trying to say it's just one thing. Yeah. Like game, I'm not saying game, that either. It varies, but it's so the Carolina game. If we had to point blame at anybody, right? If you want to point blame, sure, I guess we can point some blame at Brad Holmes for not having enough defensive tackles on the team so that they could rotate. Sure, but Brad Holmes isn't the reason they lost the first 6. Like, this is not the reason they went 1-6 either.
Oh, I beg to differ that because watch this. Let's just go through and keep it 100, right? I just want you to keep it 100 with me. I know you are, because you're gonna tell me I'm full of shit, right?
I mean, yeah, not in those exact words, but yeah.
I'm okay with it, right?
For you, Luke, you're full of shit.
The T would
appreciate you, John.
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so here's the thing. So let's go through it. Let's look at it. The first game, Lions score 35. They lose 38-35. Who fought this? Offense or defense?
Jared Goff. I blame Jared Goff for that one.
Okay, offense or defense?
Offense.
All right. They go out, they beat Washington 36-27. Offense or defense?
Defense played out of their mind that game. Aiden kind of took over, so I kind of give a lot of credit to the defense on that one.
All right. Minnesota, you lose 28-24 on the last minute. Nice big play, if you ask me, but offense or defense, who do you blame for that?
That one's a little 50-50. I personally blame the offense a little bit because I believe they didn't score at all in the second half.
So I was just about to say, Luke, hold
on. I'm almost there. Minnesota, Seattle Seahawks. They score 45 points, give up 48. Offense or defense?
Defense on that one.
New England.
Made Geno Smith look like an MVP that game.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta tell me. New England Patriots, offense or defense?
Offense.
All right. And Dallas Cowboys, they lose 24-6. Offense or defense?
Offense.
So our 1-6 start, according to your tally, is majority of it's because of the offense.
Yeah.
Even though they had the number 1 scoring offense in the league.
Yeah, because again, like Anthony said, though, you have to watch those games. Like I said, that Minnesota game, you didn't score in the second half, or I think they scored very little in the second half.
You can't give up that big ass. You cannot give up that big ass play and penalty at the end of the game and then give up that.
That too. No, absolutely. Like, I'm not. That one's a toss up, right? Some people blame coaching for that game, right? Some people blame the fact that
better stuff up on offense. Then.
So Luke, I just want to ask this. You said you beg to differ when Miko said Brad. Asked you if Brad Holmes was at fault for the start of the season. We said it's not. Mm-hmm. You said it is. So. Is it Brad Holmes' fault that they couldn't execute one offensive drive in 15 minutes in the fourth quarter? All we did was one offensive drive to close it out, and we couldn't. Is that Brad Holmes' fault? No. Because we've established no.
Yes.
I'm God.
Yes, it is.
Right, Luke,
yes,
let me finish.
I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why.
Let me finish, Luke. Let me finish.
Go ahead. I'll tell you why. Go ahead.
Because Brad Holmes has created an offense we know is top 5 in the league, so it's not his fault that they couldn't do one drive in 15 minutes. You're talking to me about the Patriots game, the Cowboys game. You're going to tell me that Brad Holmes is at fault for not putting a good enough offense out there? Because, let me think. They're a top 5 offense in the NFL, Luke. You're going to sit there and tell me that it is all his fault that we couldn't win those games?
Yes.
That's rubbish.
Yes, I'll tell you why. Because unlike Nico, I believe we lost those games because of defense.
John, I believe we lost. I need you to check in on this one. I need you to.
I believe that we lost to the Eagles because of defense. I believe that we lost to the Minnesota Vikings because of defense. I believe we lost to Seattle because of defense. I believe we lost to New England because of defense. I believe we lost to Dallas because of offense. Now that one, I agree with.
How much is that? Are you looking at final score versus actually what happened in the game?
I'm looking at actually what happened in the game. So I'll give you an example, right?
Luke,
the Philadelphia Eagles game.
For the love of God, go and watch that Vikings game, Luke. That defense made stop after stop after stop after stop in that fourth quarter, and all the offense had to do was sustain one drive.
What about the other three?
It doesn't, but that's why it's an entire
you're just
game.
Changing the post
what
again.
about no? I'm not moving in it. No, I'm not. I'm asking you.
Though.
Listen, no, I'm not. Because listen, what you're doing is you're trying to take the whole game that happened and say what they did in the fourth. But here's the reality: they literally score a point to put them on the lead and gave it to the defense to hold off, and they didn't. So that's what happened.
But was the game over? Was it the game? Did they not also still have 15
if the
minutes?
defense
Like
get the fuck off the field, it is yes.
Did they still have 15 minutes?
Why do you think that Dan Campbell went for it on fourth down so much? Because the defense was a hot damn mess.
No defense.
No, that's statistics. That's so the fourth down stuff ain't even about like defense, offense. That's like a whole laundry list of defensive statistics, or like it's all statistics based. So like, why would I give their so like on the 32-yard line, it's 4th and 1. I'm gonna go for it because what if at best I have a chance at a 47-yard field goal, or I stay on the field and have a chance for another additional 4 points. And the worst thing that happens is that they get the ball 7 yards further ahead than if I had made a field goal, and that's if I make the field goal. So I don't want to saying why we went for it so much on fourth down is a lot trickier than bad defense. That I just want to interject the nuance there, you know.
But to the people listening, I just want to point this out to you too, because a lot of the stuff that I'm pointing out is not something that I just decided would be a good talking point. I'm bringing this stuff up because I really do believe that there is a direct agenda right now. Not saying it's there, but it's a direct agenda for the attention to be directly targeted towards the scapegoat being Aaron Glenn. He's going to be the reason why all this is not making sense. So let's just look at some facts. This right here breaks down the play-by-play. As you can see, the score is 0-0. Detroit scored first, 7-0. They got them to punt, 7-0, right? They score again, 14-0 on 12 plays, right? Because we talking about this could be 50-50 coaching and all the other stuff. Then they go up and give a touchdown on 11 plays on 80 yards, 14-7. Let's get down to that fourth quarter. Where we at? That's second. I know I skipped that damn thing some damn where. What did I skip it at?
I thought we just said we're not going to look at a single quarter at a time.
No. Wait a minute. What I said was we have to look at the whole game. And the idea is for some reason that what happened in that whole game was that the Lions offense failed the job in the fourth. But I'm going to show that that's not the truth. That's not what happened. That's not the case. Because the Lions had the lead that whole freaking game. There was never a point they did not have the lead until they did not. And that's when it got bad.
Luke,
I was looking for the offense.
I think that actually goes to I think that goes to our point, because we're talking about the Minnesota game here. I actually have been charting the entirety of our offense, like going through seeing
you don't have to chart it. It's already here. The play-by-play is here.
Yeah. No, that's what I mean. Like I'm saying that because I'm now I've been familiarized with this. In the fourth quarter, we had 3 drives to put them away. 3 drives offensively to put them away. We did not. We didn't score a single point on any of those drives either. So that's not just our, we were ahead the whole time. The offense got to keep them off the field too. We can't give them an additional 3 possessions in the fourth quarter and expect them not to score with Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, they didn't score with Justin Jefferson. They did not score with Justin Jefferson.
That's fine though. But
or Dalvin Cook, or
they didn't score with Dalvin Cook.
Who they score with?
They scored with KJ Wright. They didn't score with them. This is right here, Luke, three plays.
If you're going to do this whole stats thing, Luke,
that's fine. Osborne.
If you're going to do this whole stats thing, you're going to do it this way. That's right. So Aaron Glenn had an awful defense and he had no talent. So when we got blown out by the Patriots, why is it that his defense only gave up 10 points in the first 3 quarters? when they were on the field all the time defending against that. And it was only in the last quarter when they were exhausted, when they finally buckled. You've got to blame that on the defense. Defense has got no talent. When we got blown out by the Cowboys, when we got blown out by the Patriots, it was at the end of the first half, right at the end, when they'd have most of the possession, when they started to buckle. And you're going to tell me he's got no talent? Okay.
He didn't have no talent. Let's get that out the way. That's just facts, right? He didn't have no talent. Two. To talk about the New England game, let's talk about the New England game. The defense did a very good job. Offense didn't show up. I've already conceded that and said, yeah, I agree with Miko on that one too. But I felt that, plus that was a coaching game too, where I'm like, bro, you got to take the points when they're there, whatever. We all agreed on that. However, when we started this whole thing out, you guys wanted to dismiss the first 3 quarters of the Vikings game. And I told you it was more than that. They led the whole freaking game. And all they asked the other team to do is hold, not long. It wasn't like they needed you to hold for long, but they went down and they scored in 3 freaking plays. 3 plays they scored quickly and swiftly to take the lead on us. That's
are we applauding the 3-play TD giving up? Are we applauding that over here? No, like Luke, we keep saying it's more than black and white. And then you pretend that we're just saying it's black and white. And I think that's where the frustration is coming from our side. I just want to kind of level it out. That's where I'm feeling with this. That's how I'm feeling this conversation. Is that we're saying, hey, let's look at the complexity, and then you're saying, hey, stop looking at it black and white. We're never going to make headway.
Let me just tell you really quick. I don't even do gray areas, bro. I don't do gray areas. I simply keep everything objective, and I look at what I have in front of me in terms of information. I don't even do gray areas, right? Me and gray areas is not even a thing. What I'm pointing out to you guys is this. We all watch the same game. We all have different conclusions on what happened in those games. I'm saying, okay, fine. But at the end of the day, you're not going to tell me to look at the fourth quarter when they had the lead for the whole freaking game, and then they the defense give up all them points. And what I'm trying to point out to you is this. It's a reason why the defense was the worst during that stretch, and the offense was ranked high. They were putting up points. They were giving us a chance to win. They were doing things to help keep us in those games. But when you look at the games that we lost, like the Seattle Seahawks game, which is one of the games that really grinds my gears, you cannot score 45 points and give up 48. Okay. And the ironic way is we lost that game. We lost that game because we couldn't stop the run.
Here,
when you go through,
and we admit that, Lou, but
guys, can I pull us back a bit? So this whole thing is who's to blame if shit goes to his fan. So Luke, I know you don't, you're not smitten with Brad Holmes like a lot of us are. So one of the things I kind of want to pull us away from this never-ending circle where I feel like we're never going to get anywhere on this and look at something more positive. So with how we have been drafting, looking at the top 10 players, honorable mentions, and people who have at least gotten one vote, when looking at those players from the NFL executives, players, and all them, we had 5 positions that did not receive a vote. Running back, tight end, defensive tackle, linebacker, cornerback, and safety. So Brad Holmes' offense knows this. So what do? We scrapped Jamal Williams and DeAndre Swift, got Montgomery and Jahmyr Gibbs instead, giving us a chance there. Tight ends, we got rid of Hawkinson. Now we have Laporta, giving us a chance there. D-tackle, we got a developmental guy. I won't say he attacked that. Linebackers, he got a linebacker so athletic he tested close to Brian Urlacher's numbers. Cornerbacks, we revamped that entire room. Safeties, we added Chauncey Gardner-Johnson and Brian Branch. And Chauncey Gardner-Johnson was the 8th on the list. So when I'm looking at Brad Holmes, I'm seeing how he's attacking the problem areas. Because he knows this list exists too. He knows how everyone votes and how everyone views us.
Well, we got one problem.
All the spots, he tacked everything except D-tackle. And you know what? That's a lot to do in 1 year.
Will, you're missing a whole lot of points, and let me just bring them up. First things first. Let's talk about this from from an objective standpoint. All this about who voted on, I don't give a fuck what none of them people voted on. I can care less, right? Those same people said that. No, wait a minute. Those same people said that Jamarcus Russell was a home run hit. So please miss me with that. Those are the same people who are writing articles talking about we should be trading for fucking Malik Willis, which I'm gonna get into that in another day. I can tell it already.
Oh,
but let's get into the point of it.
Right? Wait.
So hold on. Wait a minute. No. Wait a minute.
What's happening?
Wait a minute.
I'm just confused with what's happening. Why are we?
So what's happening is this.
I'm trying to make it positive. And now you're trying to go and talk about what all this shit is.
No. What I'm trying to tell you is you can't make something positive until they take snaps. And so what I'm telling you is, as much as I'm not shitting on Broderick Martin, I'm saying he should not be given this level of hype, and he haven't took a damn snap.
Wait, pause. What hype?
I don't think I've heard a
media
single
I have seen, in every media I have seen, Lions-wise, even myself, was the number one pick where I think that was a reach and a whiff. That was the universal feeling for Broderick Martin.
We're not talking about. Listen, we're not talking about when he was drafted. We're talking about right now. I'm telling you, you can find article after article of the love and the hype for this guy. Miko,
because it's the context. Because it goes back to what Anthony talked about, though, right? It's the initial feeling that like everybody was like, "Who the hell is this guy?" And then people are just now doing the research. People are just now watching tape, and instead of just going off the fact of I didn't know who this dude was, and he wasn't in any of my mock drafts, like it does require people to people are allowed to therefore go and do research and get them up to speed on the player that's on this team. He was taken in the 3rd round. There has to be some level of belief from this coaching staff, because again, unless we're going to sit here and just say that Brad Holmes is making picks rogue, since you like to throw that term around, do you believe that Brad Holmes is just going rogue and that he's not getting any type of input from his coaching staff? That Aaron Glenn isn't kind of making his voice heard and saying, hey, this is who I want. This is who I think would actually help our defense?
Yeah, I do think he's going rogue.
Okay, well now I just think you're just being delusional then. Like that's that's fine, but like that's just gonna be the response.
So Luke, those goalposts that started out outside your house, they have gone to the coast, sailed across the Atlantic, and they're now outside my house actually. That's how far those goalposts are traveling, where the points are getting moved. And I'm not moving the
goalposts. I haven't moved the goalposts now one single time. Where my point has been,
well, they're here with me right now.
I see the tracks of them.
Where my point has been very simple, and there are people who are listening who understand what my point is. Moving the goalpost means
you're assuming that we're
hold on. I'm gonna give you a question.
Like that.
Okay, we're moving the goalpost would be me hand picking, snipping little things here from there. What I'm pointing out to is this: I started to show out. I'm gonna give you a chance to talk, bro. Wait a minute.
Wait.
What I started to show out with is asking a simple question of rank the defensive line, rank the linebackers, rank the safeties. Nobody gave them a top. Well, I'm sorry, 2 people gave them a top. Gave the corners a high one. They gave them a high one, but what I'm telling you is this: the reality of it is not necessarily this. It's this idea that I see based on how some of the people are talking, how people are writing these articles. I already see who the scapegoat is. It's hands down going to be Aaron Glenn, right? No matter, I don't give a what happens this season. If they win, they're not going to be talking about Aaron Glenn, he should get a head coach. They're not going to be talking like that. But if they don't win, they're going to blame everything on Aaron Glenn. Then it's going to go from Aaron Glenn. Wait a minute.
I just have one question.
Go ahead.
I'm piggybacking off what Anthony asked you earlier. Can you tell me the thing that Aaron Glenn has done so well where he shouldn't be on the hot seat? What has he done up to this point why he shouldn't be the person that we look to as far as why this defense isn't performing?
He's gotten more out of less talent than I've seen most of our other coaches deal with. We just don't. All of our investments have been on offense, and it's clear to be there.
That's not true.
Wait. Question.
It's not.
What? Okay. Would you rank our 2022 defense on the level of our 2020 defense? Is it the same? Higher? Okay, it's the same.
Yep. There was no difference. It was hot garbage.
Okay, so Matt Patricia, 32nd in the league. Us, with the same level of talent, being 29th in the league. Woo! Hey, man, he got a lot out of him. No, I'm sorry.
Okay, listen. Not only was
that
that dramatic, I want to bring to the attention of the facts. The facts are as this: that defense was just as bad as this defense is now, and that's the point I'm trying to make. The defense has been a bad product for the longest because you refuse to address key parts on the defense. That when I say we haven't really made investments on defense, I'm talking about high quality investments. I can name all the high quality investments. I can name all the high quality investments on offense, from DJ Chark all the way to people like Marvin Jones, to bringing in Jamal Williams, to bringing in everything he's done.
You didn't pay a premium price for Jamal Williams.
I'm not talking
Marvin Jones.
I'm not talking spending. I'm not talking spending of no sorts of money. I'm talking about the quality of players you brought in. When you look at the quality of players that was brought in for the defense, you're not going to tell me that it matches up to the quality of players we brought in on offense. It's
okay, in that case, question. Can you go to the people we got this year?
We can coach up the defense because our coaching staff is apparently so great. We can take a med defense and just coach it up. No skill.
What he literally did was he gave every reason for Jared Goff to be the franchise quarterback. Every reason. He's giving him everything. Offensive linemen, running backs, receivers, tight. He's giving them everything. What did he get a defense? What's the best player?
This is bullshit. Right, I got
all the draft.
I'm pushing back on this, Luke. You have had an edge taken in the first. You had 2 successive DTs taken in his first year. You had a cornerback taken in the third. You had Barnes bought in. And then in the next draft, you've got Hutch, who you've had in there. You've had Pascal, who you've put in there. You've found Kaminsky, Bugs, all these
Kirby
guys.
Joseph, baby.
You have got a lot of, Kirby Joseph. You found depth pieces in free agency, and you're fleshing it out with young, talented guys in the draft who are going to be there.
Now, guess what? Hold on. Anthony, and guess what? That your coach is responsible for developing.
Yes.
If he doesn't do that, guess what? Aaron Glenn should be fired if he doesn't develop the youth that he drafted.
Half his draft was hurt one year, from the receiver to the D tackle.
And I'm talking about this year. We're talking about him being on the hot seat this year. All of those guys are healthy, are they not?
I don't know. I'm not Levi. Definitely not.
Old Glenn guys.
Levi. All right. Levi probably will never be the same. Like
Levi.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Like,
all I'm saying
leave Levi alone because Levi is leaving this team.
Listen, all I'm saying is this. I just want to bring this point home. This is my whole point of putting it all on his shoulders, right? I'm telling you right now. All of us are going to watch these games. We're all going to be on the same thing, right? We're all going to look at it. I don't want people to sit up there and all of a sudden say, "Oh, he's the guy on the hot seat," right? But if the defense do good, you're gonna say, "Oh, it's up to him," right? Like you have to say that, right? But the reality is this. I'm just telling people, don't get your pitchforks and your torches ready just yet, because you have to be able to look at it. If you're going to tell me that there's a lack of it, the highest free agent he's ever added to this defense was Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. He has never added anything higher than that. Everything he's added outside of that were journeymen who were hurt. CJ Mosley coming off an injury. Cam Sutton probably had his best season.
Luke. So we had no money. We had no money year one. So
we did have money. That's not true.
No,
we had $36 million. We had $36 million
for draft picks, for practice squad.
No. It was 30. No. It was $36 million before the draft picks. Before the draft picks, like meaning that they already took the draft picks part out and it was still left for $36 million.
Okay, but we had no defense when he first came, and you've rightly admitted that. The offense.
We still don't have defense.
We had an offensive line. We had a quarterback who's done well in the NFL. You have pieces there. On defense, you've got to build young, and you've got to build it up that way. And at times, he's found a lot of depth. Good senior players in there. You've got a lot of talented young players in there. And we're going to talk about getting scapegoated. Anthony Lynn got, 5 months, 6 months? His ass was out of here. It was not acceptable. He's gone. Aaron Glenn is now going into year 3. It's not like he's not been given a leash to do his job. He's been given plenty of slack. And if he's fired after year 3 because his defense is no good, then it's absolutely justified. Lynn got 6 months and got rightly fired.
Let me ask a question. I'm going to ask this question. I'm looking for a straight answer. I'm starting off with you, Will. Who was the best free agent that was brought to this team in 3 seasons by Brad Holmes?
Best free agent?
Yep. On defense.
Come back to me. I want to look through them.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Listen, I love a man who's going to do the research. Miko, the best free agent he brought in on defense in the 3 years he's been here, Brad Holmes.
It's been Chauncey Gardner-Johnson.
Okay. Anthony, the best free agent he's brought in on defense since in 3 years of him being here, Brad Holmes.
Probably be CJ.
Okay. Now watch this. Will, are you ready or are you still looking?
Still looking.
Okay. Anthony, name me the best free agents he's brought in on offense since he's been here in 3 seasons.
Best offensive free agent.
Mm-hmm.
Who's still here?
No, you ain't gonna tell me you ain't got nobody. No.
Well, I sure as hell am not saying DJ Chark. You make it out like it was a big deal. He was a bust, an absolute bust who was a crop. So don't give me this rubbish that he was getting elite players on there. He bought in a crop.
I'm not talking about getting elite players. I said that he has made more impactful player investments on offense than he did defense.
Wait, question.
Hold on, but most of that is because your offensive coordinator knows how to utilize his pieces clearly better than your defensive coordinator does.
Okay. So I'll ask the question to you: who was the best player he got on offense?
Jamal, probably. If we're going by production, Jamal was
was Jamal here when Anthony Lynn was here?
Yeah, but
okay,
Jamal was also hurt.
So okay, I'm just asking. All right, Will, you ready?
Yeah. So defensively, I would have to say it would be this year with Chauncey Gardner-Johnson. I mean,
so we all can admit that the biggest move that we made, whether it be draft, free agents, whatever, we can all admit that the biggest free agent move he made didn't come.
Oh wait, no, you asked free agent, not draft.
I'm just saying
changing goalposts again.
I'm just saying free agent.
You're changing.
I'm just saying free agency. I stand corrected. Free agency. The biggest impactful player he's added came in year 3 in free agency. Correct? We all agree.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. And
wait. So I want to take a step back real quick. If we're going to talk about DJ Chark being this impact player on offense,
wait a minute. Will,
let me cut.
Stop, Will. We're not talking about DJ Chark being this most impactful. What I said is we have made more impactful impact players on free agency towards the offense than we have anything because he has tried everything in his power.
That's what I was talking about, though.
But listen. It's not just looking at DJ Chark. You have to look at all of the offensive moves.
I know. Wait, and that's why I want to finish out my statement. You're talking about so DJ Chark was impactful to the offense, but not as impactful as Kaminsky was to that defense. In 2022, Kaminsky was more instrumental to our defense than Chark was to our offense.
I'll take. Hold on. So, I'm gonna answer this question.
Luke,
I'll take your Kaminsky and I'll charge you one Jamal Williams. Now next, try again. Go ahead, Anthony.
I'll charge you one Alex Anzalone.
You're talking about long-term impact, Luke.
Well, because he's been the captain of that defense. He's held that shit together.
He's still here.
Name me one person that he's invested. Luke, name me one person he's invested in on offense who's still here. But then look at defense. Charles Harris bought him in. Multi-year deal because he did really well. Kaminsky, multi-year deal because he did really, really well.
That's actually a good point.
Who's got more than a one-year deal on offense, Luke? Aaron Glenn has got multi-year players from free agency.
I know
on his roster. What has Ben Johnson got from free agency? Nothing. He's got Cam Sutton on a 2-year deal.
You know what?
You start telling me about this long-term impactful stuff.
You know why Ben Johnson didn't get multi-year players? Because he's got multi-year players in drafts. You take a hurt-ass receiver who can't help you. Wait a minute.
Let's say we were talking about free agency. Why are we going back to the draft?
I'm trying to show you why he's not necessarily giving out longer term deals in offense when you literally drafting people that you know or you were expecting to come in. The reason he gave a 1-year deal to DJ Chark was to say, you know what? Let me see what he can give us. I already got Amon-Ra St. Brown. I just drafted Jameson Williams, who I'm expecting to come in and do something. I think the whole suspension thing, it is what it is. No, whatever, right? It is what it is. But he already knew that he had those people, right? You go through, you look at it. Even when you look at him drafting the tackle, which I agree with. I thought they would take a tackle, and they did. They took a tackle, right? That's all in that. So when you look at the idea of getting an impactful player, what was he supposed to add to an already offense that was stacked with some people that you can work with?
What does that matter about the price?
He's done the same thing for defense, though. Anthony,
the hell he has. Then why is the defense still so bad?
I don't
Charles
think
your defensive coordinator cannot
I think he's
develop
added some
talent.
really good depth players, but I don't know about starters on defense.
You drafted.
We got good depth players.
I just kind of don't get why we went with it. So what I don't understand is we specified free agency. We made sure like this was a free agency talk, and then when we couldn't talk about free agency, you talked about the draft.
I'm not listen, Will. I'm talking about the draft in conjunction to free agency. I'm talking about the draft in conjunction to free agency. Make sure you put it in the
let's do that for defense then. Let's do that for defense.
Do it for defense. Even better. Do it for defense. Talk to me.
Great. So we got Aleem McNeil, who is an ascending player, trending good to great. We got Aiden Hutchinson, who in his first year was ranked top 15 in DNs in all of football. Great honors. Derek Barnes, Malcolm Rodriguez, I know you don't like him. But now we also have Jack Campbell in that room, who's uber talented, already way ahead of the curve development-wise than most linebackers coming out of college. We now, in addition, have Kirby Joseph for many years. We have Cam Sutton for 3 years. So if we're talking about draft investment, I've actually done this multiple times. We have done a shit ton of draft capital into our defense over every single draft. Like the first 2 drafts was 2 offensive picks apiece, 6 defense. This one was the first one that was even. First one in his tenure that it was even. And that's because he feels like it's at a more level spot at this point. You feel me?
Okay. All right, so here's the thing. When you look at all that talk that you did, you look at the draft and everything, you knew that he took a guy second overall, right? So you took a guy second overall. You took this guy 18th. We don't know what he's going to be. He got to play.
Wait, we're talking about contract length. I don't care about picks. We were talking about contract length. I don't care about where he picks him. Because contract length-wise, the second overall or Mr. Irrelevant got 4 years on that contract.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you.
That's why I don't care about the pick.
No, I hear what you're saying. But what I'm trying to get you to understand is this. You're telling me that he's made these impactful investments on defense as he did on offense, right? And your argument to it is this is on Aaron Glenn. My only argument to that is
that is not part of my argument. I don't have anything against Aaron Glenn. I'm just here to dispel the anti-Brad Holmes.
Okay, so your argument is that he got impact players in the draft, right? Like he got impact players, right? That's your argument. So you bring up people like Malcolm Rodriguez, who he just found his replacement for, not even a full year after. Swiftly.
Jesus.
Wait.
He's not.
He's Anzalone's replacement. He's the green dot of the future.
Yeah, Anzalone's replacement.
So who's gonna be the 2 starting linebackers when we go into a 4-2 4-2-5? Well, who's gonna be the starting linebacker?
Anzalone and Campbell.
Okay.
No, Rodrigo will be right now. Until Campbell beats him out in training camp, it's Rodrigo's job. You're all right, Luke, you are going to laugh.
You drafted him 18th overall. He's starting,
this
bro.
time.
Wait, Luke.
This time last year, you laughed.
They said that in OTAs that
he
Jack Campbell is currently in the second.
He is not going to bench his 18th.
A first-round pick, and he's going to sit.
He is not going to bench the 18th overall pick, bro. It's not happening.
The start is the first play of the game. So let's say, for all 16 games, Jack Campbell comes in the second play of the game. So he's missed 16 plays, but he plays the rest. How impactful is being the starter?
But that's not what
starter is. You're
taking it very literal. No, it doesn't.
That's exactly what a starter is.
Starter level reps.
No, that's
what is the definition of starting?
You can talk about reps, but the definition of the starter is at the very beginning of the game. That's who the starter is.
So if they take one snap, but then don't play the rest of the game,
they're a starter.
That's correct.
Come on, Luke. I'm English and I know better than that. I don't even live in the country this comes from, and I know that.
He called the football field a pitch, and he knows it. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Will, but there's some things I can't let go. All right.
Let's disregard that he's going to earn his way. He's a first-round talent. We have clearly said that Jack Campbell is uber talented. He had the numbers in the combine or whatever it is of Urlacher. He's up there in talent. So he's going to earn it. Earning it should be like me snapping my fingers. He is this talented to take over from the other guy.
Just not watch this team the last 2 years. This is a system based on earning your starts, regardless of your position.
And it should be if he is this talented, it should be this easy for him to earn it.
Listen, I can prove that this is not a
system. It should be like taking candy from a baby.
Because I remember when Jamal Williams got hurt, DeAndre Swift did nothing to give that spot up. And as soon as Jamal Williams was healthy, to the bench, they put DeAndre Swift. I can give you another example where...
No, that's rubbish, Luke. DeAndre Swift did nothing but be inconsistent and injured. Let's stop rewriting history here.
Wait a minute.
What year?
This year. When Jamal Williams got hurt, DeAndre Swift came in and played great. What are you talking about? That's not me making it up. That happened. He played great.
Handy stats, brother. Hold up.
Look it up. He played great. And then all of a sudden, they put in Jamal Williams as soon as he got healthy.
But that's also, like, again, these are things that they've talked about in training camp and leading up to the season about keeping DeAndre Swift healthy. So him not getting snaps was not a diminish on his talent. It was in the hope of keeping him healthy throughout the length of the season.
Miko,
it didn't work.
I'm with you on that one, man.
Miko, do you believe that the linebacker we took 18th overall will not start day one?
Oh no, I've been saying it. I've said it routinely.
Damn,
Jack Campbell will start week one.
Swift didn't pass 80 yards after the first game of the season. So where are these wonderful performances, Luke? Running back who can't even get past 80 yards. How is that wonderful?
So here's the big thing with Swift. The injury set him back like hell. Before this injury, he was going 8.3 yards a carry. 8.3. After this injury, it was 7.1. It was no different than having Jamal Williams in there. That's literally the same amount of yards Jamal Williams was getting per play. Now, the benefit of DeAndre Swift in there was passing, which is why he started transitioning more into a passing role, a third down back. That's why he saw that change up. And also while watching all their games, like the Giants game, their wide receivers were so banged up that they had Amon-Ra St. Brown and Khalif Raymond. They were literally putting out 3 to 4 running backs onto the field at a time because they had so little depth everywhere else. So it makes sense why the more passing-oriented guy wouldn't be getting carries because they need him to do passing stuff in those moments, you know? So it doesn't surprise me that his rushing would go down.
No. But that's what I'm saying. He was doing so much between the passing game and the rushing game. He was killing them. And then as soon as Jamal Williams got healthy, they benched him. They just benched him. It was no real reason for it, but I get it. But I'm
looking at it. He isn't benched.
Hey, Luke. I gotta bounce.
Never got.
I appreciate. No, listen.
We finished.
Thank you, Miko, for coming in and being a bastion of knowledge. I appreciate it.
Listen,
anytime you need a tag team partner, and you let me know. All right,
I will. I'll do this with Luke. I'll be like, I'll call him Miko if you don't call it in.
Hey, I gotta come up with a tag team name for y'all because what my real point was is to have a conversation and allow for people to come in and tell me otherwise. But the truth is this. The reality is the things that I see, I just sit back and we have to see if it come over in time. I just know for a fact that based on what I'm hearing, what I'm seeing, that there has been some type of thing where it's all on Aaron Glenn's shoulders. And I'm just like, y'all realize this defense has not really been good and it's not on his shoulders. This defense has not had the talent to get these things done. And there's no way of looking over that. But I get what you're saying when you say, oh, he's drafted defense. He has, but all of them have not been like really good players. They've been okay. Some of them have been mad. Nope. Some of them have been great, but it hasn't been consistent. But when you look at our offense investment, and this is not something I made up, you can go to Over the Cap and look up. We spend more money on our offense than we do. All right, than we do on defense. It's been that way for years. It's been that way for years. Give me your final thoughts,
I'll say this, and I'll bounce, right? I don't think the issues on defense are not one individual person's like to blame, but the person that I do believe carries the bulk of the blame right now is Aaron Glenn, right? You can sit here and point to the fact that they maybe spend or they've dedicated more money to the offense, but the truth of the matter is, from a GM's perspective, Brad Holmes has tried to add talent equally, whether it's through the draft or through free agency. You can't fault Ben Johnson for just doing better with his pieces. He's utilized and got the most out of his pieces when Aaron Glenn just hasn't quite figured that part out. Some of it has been due to health, right? He hasn't had a healthy Levi. He didn't have a healthy Josh Paschal throughout the start of the season. That stuff is fair, but he's still responsible for developing that talent, putting them in a scheme that helps them excel, and putting together a game plan that they can go out and execute week in and week out. So that's why, if there's a reason why Aaron Glenn is on the hot seat, for me specifically, it's that. He has every opportunity to put these guys in position to succeed. Your OC does it, right? And we won't say that he has the greatest talent from top to bottom. He has a really good offensive line. But Aaron Glenn now has a really good secondary. Figure it out. That's all I'm asking Aaron Glenn to do at this point. Figure it out.
I ain't mad at you, Miko. You know I love me some you, man. You've been very supportive and available, giving a lot of my life moments. So I do appreciate you and stuff. I do appreciate when you come on. I hope people understand that we don't do this personally. This is for the sport.
It's all love between
it's for the it's for the sport.
This is for the love of the game, boys.
Yeah,
for the love of the game.
I do 100%. I hear what you're saying. But in this particular case, I believe you drank too much Kool-Aid, and we need to go and check your blood pressure. But that's just another story.
Hey, that's all right. You can come back on hit up my channel anytime, and then that way I can be right on my channel. You can, and I can just put you in the wrong.
Oh, yeah.
Let me go ahead and bookmark that. I appreciate you for coming through, Miko, 100%.
Hey man, appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you.
All right, let me go to my man Jon Kapler. Get the people your.
Final thoughts. I'm with you. I think we could have invested better on defense, and I think our coaching staff is, we have the talent we like. We can coach them up. We don't want to give up on what we have and be proven wrong that it's lack of talent. And check me out on YouTube. Just look up the name Jon Kapler. It's pretty simple. Trying to get better at putting out more content for the people that follow me and for the new people. And as always, go Lions. Luke, thank you for letting me be on. I always enjoy the Lions talk between all of our guys, especially from our guy over the pond. Love your stuff, man. You're
appreciate you, John.
You come so far. You're doing so damn well. And that's all I got.
Listen, shout out to you, man. You've been very, 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 very outspoken, supportive, strong, and 100% there. When I didn't understand, the loss of my best friend, the first person to jump out was you. So again, I appreciate you for coming through, rocking with me.
Guy, man.
Can't thank you enough, man. Well, even just a guy can have superpowers. All right, even just a guy can have superpowers. Let me go and get to my man Will. Will came in ready to smoke for Brad Holmes. He was like, "Listen, it's either Brad Holmes or die." Go ahead, Will.
And his guns in the air, shoot.
Did I lose Will?
No, Will's here. Maybe audio.
He muted. I don't know if he knows he's muted.
Oh, well.
Yeah, my internet was cutting back in and out, so I don't know if it's good.
That's college for you, bro. That's all right. It's college. All right, get the people your final thoughts, Will.
Yeah, so I got a challenge for you, Luke. Next time we come in and do all this, because you're hearing a lot about Aaron Glenn being on the hot seat and all that, and how the pressure's on him. I challenge you to bring those articles next time so we can talk about them.
Okay.
Because I'll go with you on those and tear them apart with you.
Yeah, we not only will we go through the articles, I'll have to go through in every video I saw where people were doing this and how they were wording it to lead it towards him. I'll show you that too.
All right, as long as we got those, we'll run it.
All right, and last, but first of all, let me go back. Y'all don't know this, but Will, of all the people, me and Will go the hardest on each other. And one thing I will give him credit for is his ass gonna come prepared, and he's gonna come prepared for the debate, the fight, and everything. And he's quick to be like, "Nah, I got your ass, Luke." I feel like Will's like the damn like snake in the grass that's waiting to be like, "Oh, you didn't see me. There it is." So shout out to him for coming through and always trying to keep me honest on my feet. And last but certainly not least, my twin brother who said rubbish at least 30 times a day against me. I'm so adopting it. I'm taking it to the bank. You can cash that check now. Give the people your final thought, man.
I'm going to get that in your vocabulary, Luke. But
I'm working
first of all, thank you ever so much. I love doing these shows, and I love it when we don't always agree and we can do these arguments, because at the end of the day, you know, your thing about do your research. The reason I research so much is for times like this. The actual barometer I have for my arguments when I'm doing something, I think, can this survive a 2-hour grilling on Luke's G's show? If it can, then I know that I've done my research and that I can go in there fully prepared. I know that I have to be prepared for something like this. So, you know, just thanks ever so much. I love coming on and doing this. And I don't stay up. It's 1:45 in the morning here, so it's 12:45 a.m. I don't stay up arguing Detroit Lions football with anybody, any old person at this later time, unless I really, really care about them, Luke. And, you know, you are that guy I will always do it for.
Hey, I appreciate you so much, man. I every well wish, every prayer, every big support, man, you and the boys over there at Roar the Lions UK have y'all doing the damn thing. I'm excited to see all the different phases as y'all continue to grow and test things out. I love every single bit of what's going on over there. I was a huge supporter from the get-go because I was like, this is absolutely amazing. I'm still pumping it. Y'all are linked on every freaking video. So if a person, I don't know how to find them, that's cap. It's on every video. It's on every video. So
I appreciate that, Luke. So thank you. But again, thank you for today. I've had a lot of good fun.
We had to break up the monotony. It was too much. The Kool-Aid was too strong. I needed to disrupt some stuff because,
and, you know, I'm gonna go and make another Broderick Martin hype video now.
Don't you dare! Don't you dare! Don't you dare!
No.
Don't you? All right, ladies and gentlemen, listen. We've been on for 2 hours and 16 minutes. I have had a lot of fun. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Again, my biggest takeaway from this show was to simply put to say, listen, follow the patterns. You'll see it before it even happened. Everything's going to go down a certain pipeline. But to my guests who came on, I could not appreciate y'all enough. Thank y'all so much. And you know me, I cannot end the show on a negative note. I have to end on a positive note every single time. And today's positive quote comes from me. Just because you think you've lost, you've lost. You see, I realize that mindset changes everything. When you think you're defeated, you should be defeated. When you think you won, you will win. Even when a person thinks they beat you, if you let them believe that, then I guess that's the case, right? Because when your mindset is set on something that is not true and you start to do it, you become what the reality is. If they say this, you cannot get this and you cannot get that, or you are this or you are that, and you believe it, then guess what? You shall become it. I'm asking you to channel out all the noise. Get rid of every bit of this unnecessary nonsense and tell yourself what you truly are. Look in the mirror and remember who you are. Understand where you came from. Look at all the things you survived, all the things you pushed through, everything that they said that you could not do and how you did it anyway. Remind the people that whatever they thought about you, they can think it, but they will never know who the real you is. Because while they're over there trying to guess who you are, you know who the real you are. The people closer to you know who you are. The people who walk in your atmosphere and feel your aura know who you are. And the last but not least thing to say is this: just because there's something in your spirit that upsets the demons and others has nothing to do with you. People, just simply keep pushing. With that being said, hit the like, subscribe, notification bell. I'll be back at it tomorrow because they already tagged me, I think, this week for overtime. Hopefully they don't do it again tomorrow, but I should be back at it again tomorrow with another video. This time, it might be a little bit more positive, a little bit more fan flavor for the people. But if that's not enough for you, ladies and gentlemen, please Please remember this one most important quote. Don't be no chump. Please do your research.